Hello. Uh, Today, I don't know what day it is. It's Thursday. I hope you're all doing good today. I hope you had a good week so far. It's almost over. It's almost Friday. I just spilled some tea on my desk mat, so I'm sad. I was trying to drink a whole cup of tea before the stream starts, and now I'm very warm. And I may have spilled a little bit of it, but it's okay. Hello Rising. I did start it this time on time. Hello Derek. Hello Trace. Hello Amadis. Hello Fita. Who did get first? Oh, congrats on first, Derek. Hello Irom. Hello Choop. Hello Austin. I was gonna say you sound like you're having a dreadful day. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like that. I'll sound more motivated, I promise. I basically just got out of bed and I ate some breakfast. Part of that breakfast was a donut, and it was good. But you know how sometimes when you have jam on stuff, it has like the weird seeds? Is that what you call them? That's not what we call it here in Germany, but I guess it's seeds. It's fruit seeds. You have so much to look forward to in Higurashi. Do I? Last time it started off kind of depressingly, so... Also, thank you for the 7 stream streak, Choop. I'm kind of out of it. I'm sorry. It's maybe a little too warm in the room right now, especially with the tea inside of my body. It'll be okay. I was reading some more of the light novel that I've been reading, the empty box, whatever. And I'm almost done with the volume 3. It was kind of depressing to read, not gonna lie. I was reading it when I was on the train yesterday. And then, of course, the one time I'm on the train gets cancelled, and I have to take a bus for the rest of the the remaining drive. And it was awesome. It was really good. It wasn't. It was pretty bad, but it's okay. I think the 50-minute trip took me 1.5 hours, and it was very annoying. And I also figured out, since I was trying to read on the train, I took my headphones with me. You know, the AirPods that I bought myself for Christmas, that I exchanged to get some with noise cancelling. I was wondering how you even activate the noise cancelling, because I don't have like any settings on my phone or anything like that. But they just activated on their own. And I was really confused. They just activated on their own once I had like both of them in. Because usually when I'm at work, I will have 0 or 1 of them inside my ears. But this time I had both, and it was kind of an interesting feeling. Every time I moved them, the noise cancelling kind of canceled and then came back in. It was a very strange feeling. Tea, heat, and donut sounds like a lot of comfy. I guess so. I always try to drink more tea because my voice is very easily strained from streaming, and also because and from screaming when I'm by myself. How's the noise cancelling doing? It's pretty good. I have like a pair of Sony headphones, like over the ear headphones, and I hate that one. I hate that one. That pair of headphones is not very comfortable to wear. It's like made of leather, like the cushions are made out of leather, and so it's like really warm. And yeah, like Troop said, it makes my head feel like it's under vacuum. Exactly, which is why I really don't like it. But the Apple AirPods are okay. They're better, but the noise cancelling also isn't as strong, so maybe that's why. Also, hello, Gallo. Hi. Hope you're doing good. I wanted to bring my glasses this time, because my vision has been kind of blurry since last night. I don't know, my eyes started acting up again. And now I don't know, I feel like I can't read very well. So this is kind of not good for a reading-only stream. Hello, Space. Hi, hi. Hope you're doing good today. I jumped over from River Stream. They're streaming again. Oh yeah, I haven't seen River Stream in a while. I didn't see that they were live, but then again, I also don't really check my phone all that much, and I don't have notifications on. Let me see. What are they streaming right now? Oh, wait, did they stop streaming right now? Are they offline now? I think that might be. I don't see them in my list. I had Sony ones like that. The noise cancelling was okay. The fake leather started flaking off quickly. Yeah, I don't like them very much. They're very uncomfortable to wear, aside the fact that they also like give me massive headaches because of the pressure on my head. It's not very pleasant. But I wonder if there's like any way to like manually enable and disable the noise cancelling on the AirPods. They're playing a cute 2000s anime building sim. They're very much live at the moment. Why can't I see them live? Okay, I want to open Twitch again. Oh god, now I clicked on someone else's stream. Who is this? This is not who I want to watch. They're not on my list. Am I going crazy? River... What is their username again? Oh no, I don't remember. This? Rivercom? They're not in my list. I'm so confused. And it says that I follow them. Obviously, I follow River, but they don't show up on the list in the left side. This makes no sense. No matter how many times I check it, they're just not there. That's so weird. Thank you, Twitch. Awesome. Hello, Zero. Hi, hi. I will... I'm sorry, I never know how to respond. I'll let Shirota know that you think that I'm cute. I will let her know that she drew a very cute person. I'd imagine it's all different, but on my Google ones, there's different hold functions. Oh yeah, I guess like the AirPods have like a weird little part on the longer part of them that is like shaped a little awkwardly, that I think when I pressed it yesterday, it like started, I don't know, not canceling the noise. It disabled the noise canceling, so maybe like if I press it a certain way, it disables it. It was very strange, I don't know. They're undead. Oh no. Yeah, Twitch is weird. I would check... Oh wait, I have two phones now. I can't check the Twitch app. Maybe it shows in the Twitch app. Oh, but I am watching someone stream on the Twitch app. I forgot to close that. Let me see. Yeah, I do see them stream on the Twitch app. Wow, the Twitch app is actually working for once. And I see many more people that I didn't see on the browser. That is so weird. Usually it's the Twitch app that's bugged out. It's so cold. Yeah, it is. I was outside yesterday. I went to the Stardew Valley Orchestra. And goodness gracious, it was so cold. I felt like I was gonna die. Like before I took the train, I was home and I walked the dog. And I was like, damn, it's really freaking cold. I should wear my scarf. And then I rushed outside because I was late to catch the train. And then I had a very awkward social interaction where I saw someone that I knew, so I called someone to not have to talk to that person. And then when the train arrived, I was like, fuck, I forgot to grab my scarf. And then I was in the city and I was freezing my ass off the whole night. It was so bad. It was so windy and so cold. We left off with a flashback to Takano's childhood, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then she woke up and the mountain dogs were there and they're doing something. I don't know what they were doing. Hello, Panis. Hi, hi. Hope we're doing good today. Finger or hand sensors? Oh. I don't know if the AirPods come with a manual, to be honest. The box for them is like so small. I have it still. I can check, but I don't know if they do have a manual. It was 0 degrees Celsius this morning. I think I'm dying. What is it here? It's 0 degrees. It's really cold. Oh, it's -1 here. Yes, I have a dog. I have 2 cats. And they're all very cute. You know what? Oh no. I need to not talk about that. Never mind. I said nothing. You will find out what I was gonna say sometime. Sometime soon. Awkward social interactions. It's okay. It was my old neighbor, and she works for the train company. So sometimes I'll see her there catching a train to get to work, and I don't want to talk to her. So usually I'll yeah. I'll figure pretend to have a phone call or be actually on a phone call so that I don't have to talk to them. Your model is so cute. Thank you. Hello, AOL. Hope you're doing good today. I appreciate it. Oh yeah. Model was made by Shirota-san. And Shirota recently completed another model for someone else who's very cool. You will see soon, maybe. Online manual? Yeah, I'd have to check. Also, hello, Flufo. Hi. Hope you're doing good today. Unpleasant person. It's not that they're unpleasant. It's just... Well... Every interaction I have with them is very cringe because I don't know what to say. They will tell me about things and I'm like, oh, yeah, really? Wow. And I never know what to say, so I'm like, oh my god. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to have to pretend that I care about whatever it is they're telling me about. Oh. It's usually stuff that I can't understand anyway. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, is that so? Oh, I did not know that. Oh,そうですね. Yeah, something like that. Pretend your earbuds are on super noise cancel and you can't hear them. But like, wouldn't it be rude to see someone that you know and not take out your earphones and like talk to them and like say hello at least? And like while I was on the phone, I just kind of like waved my hand and I was like, oh, hi, I didn't see you there. I walked past them. Oh my god. This is like introversion times 2000. Oh, thank you for the 10 stream streak, Panis. I appreciate it. The streams are cute. Highly recommend. Yeah, you should check her out. She's awesome. NPC dialogue reply. That's basically what it is. I just can't do it any other way. You pull out the Tomitake and say, Yeah, he does that. He's just like me. He's just like me. For real, for real. Maybe best not to get super technical about job-specific things. Yeah. Like, I don't really understand how her job works. Like, she'll get on a train to be on a train the entire day. And like, yesterday I left at like, what, 3 p.m.? And I came back at almost 1 a.m. And that's when she also came back. So I did see her, actually, when I got back home. And she got off on the same station. And I had to talk to her. And I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly why I don't talk to you normally. Because I don't know what to say to you. And it's fucking awkward. And I want to explode every time that I do. Like, nothing against that person. But I'm not good at that stuff. I don't know. I'd rather blow myself up. In that situation, absolutely, yeah. Yep. But it's okay. Also, like right before I left yesterday, I got my last package. Or is it my last? One of my last packages from VGP. A couple more like physical games. I think I mentioned this order the other day. Kirby Air Riders, wow, Hades 2, Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater, Animal Well, and Grime. Look, Zero, I said Grime. This is like jingling my keys. I said Grime. Hello, do you hear me? I said Grime. I got the game. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I hit my mug. Oh, spooky! What a coincidence! Yeah, yeah. That's kind of how it went. Her name isn't Chat. She's not worth speaking to. Is your name Chat? Your name is Trace. Does that mean you're not worth speaking to either? The rage. I'm sorry. No, but I do have the game now. The box looks pretty fun. Very colorful, very nice art style. I look forward to playing it in the future. I don't know when, but I will get to it. My first name is Trace, my middle name is Chatroom. Oh, okay, I see. Poke the bear, keep poking the bear. No, don't do it. No more. /ban Trace. Oh, what a lovely name. What a lovely name. Maybe I should type it out in chat someday. You might even be able to conjure a second Grime game by playing the first one. Is that how it happens? Is that what happens when I play video games? Suddenly, video game 2 comes out. Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to playing Higurashi. I say kind of, but I was like thinking about it after we left off last week. Yeah, I was just thinking about Higurashi the whole time. And I really want to play it today. I look forward to it. I hope that the following chapters aren't as short because I'm always, I don't know, I never know when to stop playing the chapters when they're only like an hour or 2 long. I'm like, oh, do I start the next one even though it could be 4 hours long? Spooky has been keeping Grime 2 from us. Unfortunately, yes. Oh, thank you for the 3-month sub, Idolm. Thank you. I appreciate it. That is very sweet of you. Enjoy the emotes. Yeah. I want to get some more emotes soon. But the thing is that I don't know which ones I would replace. I'll have to... I think Twitch has like some statistics on which emotes get used the most and which ones do not get used as much. I might just have to look at that and decide which ones to replace because I want to get some cool ones. Not that the ones I have currently aren't cool, you know? You get it, you get it. There's already a Grime 2 announced. Oh, I didn't know that. I only know about Grime from Zero. I saw a splat emote and I had to. Yeah, it was made by Kala. Very kindly, she made it for me. So now you have 2. And look, oh god, I don't have a sub to Rice right now. My sub ran out. I think my sub to Shirota is also gonna run out. But Rice also has a splat emote that I can't show you right now. And look, this one is the other way around. But look, Nu also has one. Let me see, who else has one? Shirota doesn't have one. Nue doesn't have one. Does Kobe have one? Kobe does not have one. Not that I can see. But I'm also blind. That's the best I can do. This is one of my favorites. I love that one. Teehee. And the thing is, when you just use the static version, it's just kind of smiling at you without much of an expression, and I love that one. It's awesome. 8 hours or bust! That was the longest Higu stream. I think it was over 6 hours, right? Wasn't there one that was like almost 9 hours or so? Or maybe that was the Monster Hunter and Higurashi one combined. It was like one of the very early ones. But yeah, I think... Oh, actually, now that you mention it, I think the episode 2, one of the last chapters, that took me like 7 hours or so, or maybe longer. It was quite insane. I don't know how I did that. Like now, after 4 hours, I'm like, oh, I need to die. I need to die like right now. I need to go on my bed. Oh yeah! Skip also has one, but my sub also ran out for Skip. I don't have any more subs at the moment. I'm trying to save money now that I get paid less. Oh yeah, I got my first paycheck after reducing my work hours. I think if I count it correctly, it's like around 500 euros less per month now, which is quite youch. But It's okay, it's fine. We'll just pretend that that isn't the case. We'll just pretend that I'm not suddenly a little bit more on the money-less side. But yeah, that means that I'm trying not to subscribe to so many things. Also, thank you for the big emote. Big splat. What did I even name that emote? Oh, I did actually name it Splat. I didn't realize. I was thinking about that one too, the episode 2 finale. Yeah, it took so long. And like, I think I already split it into 2 streams. I think I did end up having to split it because it was just so ridiculously long. What time do you get a return for that? 9 hours. More, actually. Because, okay, usually I would work from 7 or 7:30 to 4. And, yeah, now I work from 7 to 1. Because I have to do, like, a 30-minute mandatory lunch break if you work more than 6 hours. And now, since I only work 6 hours per day, I don't have to do the mandatory lunch break, so I just get to go home. So, it's more than... So, like, in just work numbers, technically, it's only 9 hours less. But since I don't have to do the mandatory lunch breaks, it's 30 minutes times 5, which is how much is that? 2.5 hours? Is that correct? I think it is. So it is technically 11.5 hours, right? I didn't miscalculate. Yeah. Yes. How many work days do you have now, though? Still 5. I had the option between working 6 hours every day or working the same amount of hours as before, but only 4 times a week. And I was like, no. I don't mind working 5 times a week as long as I don't have to be there almost the entire day. So that was okay with me. I chose to work 5 days a week. Monthly subscription are mobile phone internet and a cheap VPN and mandatory stuff that everyone must have for health, etc. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I have. I think I have Amazon Prime, unfortunately. I have to have that for my VODs because I think Amazon stores, or well, Twitch stores them for like 90 days. So in order to have that, I do have Amazon Prime. I have some Twitch subs for like people that I enjoy watching, but I'm trying to have less. I think that's it. Actually, I don't have that many subscriptions. Oh well, my phone plan. But that's like €7 a month. That's about it. Yeah, I used to work 4 days a week for 9 hours. It was bad. It was kind of bad. Hello, Mango. Your name is green now. It is not purple anymore. We are doing good. Also, I noticed that I forget to wave at the beginning of my stream, so I'll wave right now. Hello. Yeah, 7 is pretty cheap. And I think how many gigabytes is it? Like 50? And I can call and send SMS for free. Yeah. It's pretty good. Also, thank you for my glasses back. I appreciate it. I'm trying out a new thing. Yes, reinvent yourself. Be a new fruit. Yeah. Maybe I'm lying to you. Hold on. Let me just double check. I think it's 50, but they might have raised the prices without me realizing, because they also raised the amount of storage, not storage, what the hell? The amount of gigabytes, whatever. Where is that app? This one? Sorry, my model is freaking out. I'm looking down. I'm looking at my phone. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not 50. It's 25. Anyway. Oh yeah, they did raise the price a little bit. It's €9 now. 25 gigabytes for €9. It's not that bad. I think it's pretty okay. And I don't even use... I don't even use like 10. It's because I don't really use my phone that much when I'm outside. Be fruity. My internet just raised from $115 to $150. That is so much. for no reason. Meanwhile, my internet company, they were like, hey, you want more upload speed? And so they gave me 1 gigabit of download and upload. Because before, I think I only had like 250 Mbit for upload, and they just raised it for no additional cost. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll take that. I was on a 2-year promotional. Oh, I see. Otherwise, that'd be kind of insane, but also, that's still a lot. But at least you had like a 2-year discount, I suppose. Oh my god, my throat is starting to hurt. Good thing we have 2 back-to-back Higurashi streams. Oh, I also think I'm getting sick. As per usual. I think I just might be sick. I keep saying, oh my god, I think I might be sick. My throat hurts. Oh, and then usually I that just keeps being the case for like a month, and I'm like, oh wait, maybe I was a little bit sick. Hello, Skiv. Hi. Don't get sick. I'll try not to. We were just talking about your dead emote. Hope you are having a good day today. That'll surely heal you of what ails you. I hope so. It's cause you met that train girl. Honestly, I met like the weirdest people yesterday. Every time I go to the city, the people are kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of them are interesting. Like there were a bunch of people eating soup to like really loud techno music at one of the train stations in the city. They were like blasting techno music so loudly, and they were like vibing and eating, drinking their soup. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay, enjoy your dramatic soup eating. I hope you're having a nice day. It was so strange. Like, I'm not used to that living on the countryside. Like, nothing ever fucking happens here. And I was like, my god, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Very different. Where's today's tea? The tea was spilled on my desk mat. Oh, also thank you for the 3 stream streak, Mango. You almost fooled me with a 30. Public places are scary. They are. Like, that was like one of the nicer encounters I had. Like, the techno soup is great. Like, that was not so bad. Like, it was a little, you know, interesting, but not so bad. Also, hello, Kuro. I didn't miss your message. Also, thank you for the hydrate. I did miss that. Like, that was fine. But then there was a guy, like, in front of me on the bus. And he had a dog with him. And there was no other seat open. So I just sit, you know, in front of the dog. And he starts screaming at his dog to, like, sit down. He was like, sit your ass down. Like, he said that in German. And I was like, why are you screaming at your dog like that? And then, like, he got up and, like, he went out. He, like, left the bus. And he did not have his dog on a leash. He just let his dog run out of the bus. And then he started screaming because the dog ran away. And I'm like, are you fucking dumb? What is wrong with you? I swear, like, if he had done more of that and if he had stayed for long enough, I would have just grabbed the dog and ran. That guy does not deserve a dog. I would have stolen that dog. He's kind of an asshole. I was at Mackey's? Is that like McDonald's? People were loud, but they were having drama, so I got a meal. And a show. A show, yeah. The city's peanuts compared to other cities. Middleburg is a very relaxed city. Yeah, I just live in the boonies, so that stuff doesn't happen here. Should have joined them and gotten some soup. Honestly, the soup looked kind of good. I was hungry, so it's soupy. Looking at my phone plan, I can get not 100, 10 gigabytes more for an added 50 cents a month. That's not so bad. Actually, kind of okay. This dude's not right in the head. No, he did seem troubled. Let's just put it that way. He also smelled like alcohol, so he might have been extremely drunk. I don't know. He was kind of weird. I don't know, but the dog looked healthy. Maybe he only yells, which is not good, but maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was having a bad moment. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know his circumstances, okay? He might not always be an asshole, but that day he was a little rude to his dog. But the dog looked healthy. Very healthy coat, healthy weight. The dog also looked relatively unbothered. No leash, bad owner, free dog, exactly. I think you're supposed to steal dogs when the owner is kind of an ass. Mackey's is McDonald's, okay. Mackey's, we call it Mecca's here. I think it's just spelled differently. I don't know, how would I spell it? Mecca's? Like this? I don't know. Dog inspection passed. Maybe the dog is hard of hearing and we're misjudging this person. I mean, he was swearing, so I don't think I'm misjudging them. McDoof. Yeah, that's also a good name. What would doof be in English? McDumb? McStupid? Something like that. Mac mildly irritating. If I just refresh my current phone plan, I pay less with nothing changed than just reapplying the same plan. See, you should do that. You should do that. Actually, you should check your... Isn't that like an advice that people give to people who are wanting to save money? They are like, oh yeah, you should check with all of your like monthly subscription plans, be it internet or, you know, water bills or phone bills. You should check with the company and like tell them like, hey, can you offer me a discount? Can you offer me a better deal? And if not, I'll look for someone else. But I know that that's probably a good thing to do if you want to save money, but I'm also extremely lazy. And I don't want to talk to people that I don't know on the phone. I'm good. Having to sort out my online banking issue the other day was already stressful enough, man. Restaurant zur Goldenen Möwe. That's actually a really nice restaurant name. You should open a restaurant called exactly that. I thought about it, but I was scared to mess up the account. Yeah. Mickey D's? Why? The price of making too much bank. Too much bank? I wish. Anyway, I'm yapping for too long already. Higurashi? Oh god, wrong screen. Almost took you to hell. Hello, Nu! A little bit. You only missed a little bit of the app. It's okay. I'm sure I'll go on a 4,000-hour tangent about something unrelated. As I always do. It's my... I think when people say that they... I don't know, sometimes people like it, sometimes people hate it, but I think if I go on tangents like 4,000 hours, it's bound to happen, but some people, you know, love it or hate it, but it's coming. It's coming. I bet McDonald's is good in Germany. I think it's as good as it can be. It's McDonald's. I don't know. It's a fast food chain. It is what it is. I hope you're doing good, Nu. Let me do this. I'm gonna fall asleep during this stream. I'm so tired today. I'm sorry. I demand more tangential. What? Tangential? I don't know how to pronounce that. Tangential yaps? Oh my god. I'm sure there are voiceless recordings of this game somewhere, but where's the fun in watching it without the yaps? True. You know what's not good in Germany? The sour cream sauce. I dare you come here, Austria, got banger sour cream. There's a difference in like sour cream? I didn't know that we had bad sour cream. I don't eat it that often, but I just thought it was fine. It's okay. Also, hello, Nova. Hope you're doing good today. Thank you for the... I still didn't hydrate. I'll hydrate twice now. Yummers. Water. We can bring some for Dokumi. You're gonna bring me sour cream? Yes, please and thank you. Also, thank you for the posture check. I will also sit up straight. Although my posture wasn't that bad. It was pretty okay. Yes, we finished chapter 1 last time. And we had a very scary Takano flashback from her childhood. Where she got caught by this really weird guy that she bit the finger off of. What finger did she bite off? The little finger? I don't remember. It was kind of brutal and also very sad. I was still thinking about the like words they said, like splayed piggy. What else did they say? I think splayed piggy is the one that just stayed in my mind. Drowned ducky, I think? And I was like, I actually did look it up because I wanted to know if it was something that I just wasn't aware of, but it's not further explained, it seems. At least from what I was able to Google, so maybe we'll learn more about the torture methods. Not that I want to, but also I'm kind of intrigued because those names are really fucked up. I just want to know what they refer to, although some you can imagine. If I ever went to visit Germany again, what's a German delicacy you can recommend? Ooh, given that I don't eat many different things and new things, I don't really know. Met. Yeah, met is pretty... I guess you could... could you call that a delicacy? It's definitely something. I used to like met when I ate meat, so I think it's actually quite nice. Senfeier, which is basically just eggs with like a mustard sauce. I think that's pretty good. I don't know if that's German though. Bratwurst is really good. What else? What else? I'm trying to think. Kalter Hund. What is kalter Hund? See, I'm not German enough. I'm sorry. Kalter Hund. Oh, it's that like cake? Is it cake? It's like cake. Kind of. Or like, I don't know what that is. But I've had it before and it's good. Hello, Rice. Hi, hi. Oh, we're doing good. Good time zone. Met Eagle mentioned. When do we get a Met Rice _2? She subsists entirely on tea and soup. I do love soup, but I don't eat it very often. Hands off my dog. Fake German? Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. What side German dishes you like cooking? Some German dishes you like cooking. I don't like cooking at all, so none. But back when I lived with my family, I used to basically only eat bratwurst. Like, that was genuinely my favorite food, just bratwurst. That was all I ate. I'd come home and, like, make some bratwurst. And, that's it. That's all I ate. Get out German by the Austrian. Honestly, yeah. I grew up in a South American household, okay? I didn't eat that many German delicacies. Croquetten are great, but I don't think they're German, though. Aren't they, like, French? No cook, no bake. I do bake sometimes. What's bratwurst? It's, sausage. Pig sausage. So, like, I don't know what makes it different from normal sausage. I don't know, man. I have no idea. I'm not too familiar with it. It's sausage, but it's German and I like it. Kroketten, they're Dutch. Kroketten. French. It is French. Spooky still didn't make focaccia. I forgot. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I haven't made it yet. But it's been on my mind. I do want to make it. Yeah, I'll make it. The Dutch. A lot of the things that I actually enjoy eating in terms of dessert are Dutch. Like the, oh god, what are they called again? The poffertjes? Something like that. Poffertjes. The little small pancakes. Those will never not be good. Those are so nice. Also the stroop waffle. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. I have never had it, but oh boy, it looks so good. It looks so nice. Oh yeah, the poking the dough at the end. I want to do that. That's like the main reason why I want to make focaccia, except for the good taste. But I want to stick my fingers in the dough and make the holes and pour some olive oil all over it. It's gonna be cool. Croquettes aren't the same as croquetten. What are croquettes again? Ooh, it's kind of similar. Oh, but if you look up croquettes, it says that it also originated in French cuisine, so it's the same thing. It's just a different shape. I think croquettes are usually like more elongated, but croquettes are like round, but it's the same thing basically. I want to make a croissant sometime. I love croissant. I've never made it myself though. Brat curry. What the hell is that? Oh, you mean currywurst? That's, yeah, currywurst. Oh, delicious. Delicious. I love currywurst. Currywurst is really good. You should get that when you're here in Germany. Looks fun and yummy to do. Croissant. One bazillion layer croissant. It looks so difficult. I've always been too scared of making croissant, but it looks good. And I love croissant. Now I can't say it any other way. Brat eating curry. Currywurst is basically, is it bratwurst that they use for that? I don't know. They use some kind of sausage and they make some kind of sweet curry sauce to like have the sausage kind of sit in. Then you usually eat it with fries. And it sounds, okay, it sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of good. It's really good. I used to have that very often, like the kind that you just kind of buy in the store and then you poke a few holes into the top and then you put it in the microwave and then you can eat it and it's really good. But I've also had it freshly made and it's also really good. Croissant. We get unlocked into more tangents. Yeah, I told you it would happen. So even real German food that's not kind of out of a different cuisine. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint where stuff comes from anyway, but I think Germans have a few dishes that they can claim as their own, I suppose. Hello, Noah. Hi, hi. Hoi, hoi. What we're doing today. Say it like that one Jimmy Neutron character. I haven't seen Jimmy Neutron in a long time. I've had that before. Curry. Worst. What? Oh, currywurst. Yeah. Curry King. Oh my god, Vita. Curry King was so good when I grew up. And I think they at some point like changed the recipe and it wasn't good anymore. Anything that has potatoes in it is probably good. Potatoes are amazing. They rule. Germans say Wurst, not worst. Yeah. At least that's how I perceive it spoken as a duchy. Yeah, because it's also written Wurst with a U. Potatoes are the best. Yeah. Germans love their potatoes and their bread. And I do think that it's quite nice. Curry King? Yeah, it's like ready-made currywurst. It tasted like ass after they changed it. Yeah, it's not good anymore. I'd just recommend making the currywurst yourself. Because, I don't know what they did, but it used to taste really good, and now it doesn't taste good at all. I don't know what they did and why they changed it, but it's kind of meh. Very meh. Okay. But, I yapped for so long that now there's gonna be an ad in 10 minutes, so now I have to do an ad break. I did not think that I would, talk for an hour. I say that every time, and I still do. I still do the same thing as always. Potatoes, bread, and cheese are all you need in life? Exactly. Is that the one from the cool section in the supermarket? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Ever have Vada Pav? Vada Pav. Every time I open my browser now, I see River. I really like their model that they're using right now. Very cute. Vada Pav. Vada Pav, alternatively spelled Vada Pav, is a vegetarian fast food dish native to the Indian state of Maharashtra. Deep fried potato dumpling placed inside a bread bun. Ooh. Oh god, that looks really good. Oh my, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Don't show me that. No. I can't look at that right now. A local cafe changed their yogurt ice recipe. The yogurt is way too sweet now. Ah, I recently had yogurt ice, or whatever you call it in English, and that is ridiculously cold. It is so insanely cold that it's painful. I did not enjoy it. Maybe the place that I got it from is not that good, but oh my god, it was not enjoyable. Every little, not bite, but like every lick was just so painful. Yes, I'm gonna yap the remaining 8 minutes and then we go ad break and then we actually play the game. Yes, frozen yogurt. My goodness, thank you. Yogurt ice is... I was like, yep, that makes sense in my brain. It is basically... it is ice. Froyo. It's Froyo. I'm sorry. Energy drink that I liked a lot changed the recipe. This happened to me already with 2 energy drink brands and it breaks me. It sucks. I don't know why they end up... I mean, okay, sometimes they change like recipes because of like regulatory changes, or they had to change something because maybe like an ingredient got banned or whatever. But if there's no reason to do that, all I can imagine is that they're like changing recipes to reduce production costs, which, man, just have the better tasting product. There's a game. But yeah, I do prefer ice cream over Froyo. I've learned it's just ridiculously cold. It wasn't frozen solid here either. It was like soft serve, but for some reason it was so cold. Like, it was not the same temperature as normal ice cream would be. I never had a brand change some item and it tasted better. It was always worse. Yeah, I think it's also like a matter of getting used to a taste. Like, there's what is the brand called? Beyond Meat? They had like a really good sausage. And it was just really, really nice. I love the taste of it, the texture and everything. And then at some point they changed it and now it tastes like literally every other product that they have. It just tastes like the same thing. It doesn't have its own unique flavor anymore. So weird. Why did they do that? All this food talk got me starving. I'm gonna get something. Yeah, you should. I would eat something if I could. Oh. I'm so upset about them changing the recipe on the Beyond sausages. Yeah! Oh my god! I don't know why they did that! That used to be so good! And now they just taste like their regular, like, burger patties. And it's like, why? Why did you do that? Oh, finally someone understands my pain. Shaking your hand vigorously. I feel very understood now. Thank you. That broke me. It could have been the future, man. It was genuinely so good that it was the best sausage, even if it wasn't meat that I've ever eaten in my life. Like, the taste was so good. And the texture, everything was just so good. And now it's mid. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not as good as it used to be. Anyway, get a snack. I'm also gonna get a bite now because I'm hungry. I'm gonna see if I have some yogurt, and I'm gonna down the yogurt as quick as I can, and I'll be back in like 3 minutes, and then we can actually play the game. Yeah, how about that? Since I don't have work tomorrow, since I took the day off, I can go for as long as I have to finish the chapter, as long as it's not like 9 hours, okay? We'll see how long we can go. But yes, I'll be right back. Hello, I wanted to take this opportunity to show you my dog. Look at her. Look at the face. Look at her doing the classic... I don't know why she always looks like this. She always looks very sad and like scared for her life for some reason. I just thought that this was a really funny expression as per usual. The pleading look. That's exactly the kind of face that she does. Wait. I forgot that my sub ran out. Man, I don't have access to a single, like, pleading emote from Rice. Like this. Like news emote. Looking too, because I got off work now. I hope you have a good work day, Rip. Skip. I don't know why I said Rip. Skip! She's very cute. She's adorable. They give me treats or I did. Bad, don't be mad look. She always looks like this. It's so funny. And Beagle also looks permanently sad. Yeah, that's the emote that I meant. That's the one. Yes, I just wanted to show her to you because she is very adorable and really funny. Alright. Oh god. What is this? This? Alright. I ate my yogurt. I'm ready to go. It is time to play the game. We had no tip. And we're gonna go. We're gonna go in. I don't know what awaits us. Oh, I have to adjust the game volume again. 7.6. Alright. Yes, as I recapped already, Takano woke up from her bad childhood memory dream in a car, and then she was awoken by one of the mountain dog guys, and they went somewhere, but I forgot where they went, actually. I forgot. That emote with the dumpy. I like that one. That is a very cool... Is that like... Who is that? I like the design of that person. I'll have to check them out. I like the witch hat. I like it. I like it. Sorry, I'm looking at the emotes. Anyway. Hotel employee. I have no idea where we are. Banquet to back end over. One more speaker, then the toast starts. Are you ready? I'm not ready. I have to adjust the volume for me too, because it's way too quiet, because I adjusted it for other games. The one bad thing about having all your audio go through Wavelink. This is the back end. We're ready. We can't hear anything from inside, so please give us a cue when the speech is wrapping up. Listen up. 10 bottles of beer per table. Make sure to deliver them to your area smoothly. Young hotel workers dressed smartly in bow ties pulled bottle after bottle out of the beer cases, preparing for the toast. They waited for their cue to serve the drinks while waiting through the intercom. At a normal party, they could put bottles of beer on the table ahead of time, but if there was a lecture before the party, then they couldn't. Guests don't mind sushi going dry due to a long speech, but they don't like seeing their tables get wet with the condensation from the bottles of beer. I would rather have my table get wet than have really dry and not so great sushi. And more than anything, they certainly don't want their to drink warm beer. That's why beer has to be served right before a toast. However, there's always a speech before a toast, and usually a long one. Especially at a big party like this, there are lots of guests that give speeches, so it's extremely difficult to know when to serve. For that reason, the bottles end up sitting outside by the banquet room. And people end up drinking warm beer anyway. There were several dozen tables with white tablecloths on them in the banquet room. Approximately 8 people were sitting at each table, so there were at least a few hundred people in the room. The banquet room was filled with excitement. There were many plates with many different kinds of food on each table. Oh, maybe this is like an assembly of the Tokyo people. A sushi platter, a sashimi platter, a fruit platter. Also, along the wall, there were cooks ready to serve fresh sashimi. All the guests appeared to be well-mannered gentlemen and were clearly notable people in various different fields. The huge and beautiful chandelier above them clearly indicated that this hotel held a status good enough for these famous people. An elderly gentleman was giving a lengthy speech on the stage before making a toast. Usually, people don't like such long speeches, especially if it's before a toast. But the guests occasionally shouted, "Yes, yes," and sometimes gave him loud applause, filling the room with their fervor. Oh, well, maybe fervor was a pleasant way to put it. It was probably more accurate to say their excitement was bizarre.
自分の国の国旗に敬意を示すなという教育をしている国が世界中のどこにあるというんですか?
Oh no, it's gonna be those weird people again. Which country would actually teach people not to show respect towards their own flag?
ないよ。そんな国はどこにもない。
There are no others.
日本だけなんです。そんなおかしい教育をしているのは。
Oh boy is right. It's happening only in Japan.
そうだそうだ。
That's right, that's right.
国旗や国歌を強制されることは心の自由への強制?
Is forcing people to respect their national flag and anthem an obstruction of their freedom?
バカ言っちゃいけない。
That's a foolish idea.
いいですか? 国旗や国歌を愛するというのはですね、自然に湧いてくるもんなんです。
Listen, love for one's national flag and anthem comes naturally to all.
自分を知り、郷土を知り、歴史や国歌を学ぶ。
One thing I can give to Higurashi is that I've seen people say that IRL. Yep. This is unfortunately very accurate to what some senior member actually fits quite well. Senior members of society tend to say. To know ourselves, to know our culture, to understand our history and our country itself.
そうしていく中で自然に自らが日本人であることを自覚していき、日本社会の一員を担う国民としての役割を理解していく。
Those are the things that make you realize that you are a Japanese citizen, that make you understand the part you play as a citizen of this country.
その結果、自然と湧いてくるのが国を愛するという心なんです。
And the feeling you get from that is love towards your own country.
ところが、反日教師どもはそれを軍国主義の洗脳だとこう言っている。
I suppose it's that insidious Tokyo party. Yeah, it must be people from Tokyo or like members of whatever organization Takano's quote-unquote grandpa is from. Since he said, similarly weird stuff. But yeah, the Tokyo organization, it's a kind of a perfect fit. I wouldn't be surprised if Takano's grandpa was the one that founded it after all. Patriotism is such a joke. It's just so strange, I will never understand why people feel so strongly about it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I will never understand. However, those anti-Japan teachers are proclaiming that it's militaristic brainwashing. Well, I like how they say anti-Japan. Like, that's not what... Oh my god. Those stupid claims are wrong. What are those people doing anyway?
これから日本を背負っていく子供たちに反日妄想をすり込み、自虐教育で洗脳している。
They're teaching our children to hate being Japanese. They're the ones brainwashing them with this self-destructive education.
日本は恥ずべき国で、貴様らはその国に生まれた恥ずべき人間であると。
They're teaching our children that Japan should be ashamed of itself and that they should be ashamed of being Japanese. Not true. I like how he sounds like the Angel Mort Otaku. Yeah, he has a very similar voice. It could be the same guy, just playing a different role. Probably depending on the country and which parts of a set country things like this are hammered into kids' heads at a very early age. Yup. I mean, oh god, which part of Germany was it that is kind of strange? Was it the east? I think it was the east of Germany. Like, even within the same country, people can have wildly different views in regards to this. I mean, there's, of course, there's stuff like America where it's way more obvious, but even in, like, smaller countries, like Germany, for example, there's some parts of it where people have exactly these types of thoughts, and the rest of the country is relatively normal about it. We have a royal family in the Netherlands and kids are learning about them, but I see no good reason as to why this matters in the slightest. Yep. Lack of critical thinking, you can't just group history, government tradition, all in one and say all of this is great. Yeah, you have to be able to view things separately and also a little bit objectively, okay? You have to, like, look at the history of the country and understand its history to be able to proceed in a way that is, you know, respectful and, I don't know, the best word for it is just normal and not fanatical. Thüringen. Where is Thüringen? I actually, oh god, we talked about this the other day. I'm not good at geography. Thüringen. Yep. Yup, Thüringen. just the placement on the map is telling me enough. I don't know much about Thüringen. But I have heard Eastern Germany is a place to live for sure. That you could say that it is. We have a proud and noble history. What's that dark spot over there? Ah, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Close your eyes. I mean, this episode started off with Takano's quote-unquote grandpa being like, oh, you know, they wanted to forbid people from researching the whole parasite in the brain thing because it could be seen as denying war crimes or like whatever happened during the war. And it's like, yeah, for good reason. Let's revere these royals in our country. Why? Because they've existed for a long time and they're rich and they did things in the past. Anyways, they're awesome! Just because Austria has great McDonald's sour cream will make me patriotic for my country. Yeah. I always, like, when I was a kid, since I didn't grow up in a German household, I used to ask my parents, oh, why do people, like, during, what do you call it in English? Soccer? Soccer. Like the World Championship? People will always like hang up the German flag and everything. And I was like, huh, why do people do that? Is that like only for soccer and stuff? And they were like, yeah, people feel like very strongly towards their country's team and whatnot. And then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then like even afterwards, so many people like have their like German flags up and everything. And, you know, as a kid, I learned that those people are sometimes very enthusiastic about their nationality. And not very kind if you don't share their values. Let's just put it like that. Not very accepting. I thought I knew we're... Oh my god, how do you say that? Thuringia? Thuringen was on a map? But I mix it up with Saxony. Yeah, Saxony is, It's further down south, isn't it? Actually, it's not that much. It's pretty close to Thüringen, actually. I thought it was further down south for some reason. The only real mech dip is barbecue. I don't think I've ever had the barbecue dip. With ball, the sport where police always have to show up. Yup. Oh my god. Here you cannot go to like a soccer game without police being all over the place because people go insane. They go absolutely crazy. And usually, every time I hear about police having to fucking arrest people at a soccer game is because people, for some reason, say the weirdest shit ever. And they always have to bring... It's a fucking sports game, but they always have to freaking go at the other team's nationality and whatever. And it's like, my god, you're kicking a ball! You're kicking a ball! Calm down! Das reminds me of Kraftklub lyrics. Wenn du sonst nichts kannst, sei doch einfach stolz auf dein Land. Yeah, that's... Oh my god. basically that. The translation would be, if you can't do anything else, you can at least be proud of your country. Something like that. I go by. It's kind of hard to translate the meaning of the lyrics. I can only translate it literally. It's more... I would see it as more sarcastic. Soccer hooligans. But yeah, that's, you know, sports are a different topic. But for some reason, people act in a similar way towards their country's teams and stuff like that. Where you're like, oh, okay, that's a little bit scary. My country's feet are better than your country's feet. Yeah. It's a little strange. Which is why I never kept up with sports and stuff like that. My parents used to watch like the World Championship for soccer since it's, you know, such a big deal here in Germany. But eventually they also stopped doing that, and I think I only watched it like once. And once I realized like, oh, okay, people get kind of weird about this stuff, I was like, I'm gonna stay as far away as I possibly can from that.
国家をないがしろにし、自分の生まれた国を否定せよと。
Forget who you are and deny your country.
そんなことを吹き込んでいるわけです。
That's what they're teaching them.
無垢な子供たちはそれをそのまま鵜呑みにし、何の裏付けもなく信じてしまう。
These innocent children listen and believe such nonsense.
そりゃ当たり前です。
Of course they do.
学校は学ぶところなんですよ。
They go to school and learn things, right?
そこで教師がそうだと教えれば、子供たちは何の疑いもなく信じるんです。
If the teachers teach them that, of course the children believe it.
こんな卑劣な話がありますか?
Can you believe such corruption exists? Sports do mingle a lot more with politics than before. Yeah, that is true. It has changed a lot over the last few years, especially. Latest time Germany won the World Cup was in 2014. I'm guessing the party must have been crazy. I think that was also around the time where I watched it for once. The one time that I did watch the World Championship was around that time. It was a little crazy.
今こそ日本の教育を私たちは体を張って守らなければならない時なのです。
We must do something about this country's education now, no matter what it takes. The sound of applause filled the banquet room. All the gentlemen agreed and expressed that they felt the same way by cheering him on. Sometimes I forget that Higurashi is a very political game. You know, we've had those moments where Shion talked about, or was it Takano? Takano and Shion talked about like the politics of Japan for a little bit in the ritual storehouse. And then we didn't have that for a long time. And now this episode starts off with exactly that again. And I was like, damn, I forgot the the underlying message. The anime definitely toned it down. Yeah, I didn't see any of that when I watched it. I mean, I guess I didn't finish it because I don't remember any of this. But, like, the stuff that I have watched, this was not included. Or I don't remember it being a big part of it at all. Game's got range? Yep, sure does. It always takes me by surprise when I'm reminded that, oh, this is what Higurashi is actually about. After that, a gentleman wearing a cloth sash approached the stage. That's always a good sign. The hall welcomed him onto the stage with another round of thunderous applause. A rousing theme from a popular drama series played as he took the stage, but it was entirely unnecessary before the overwhelming applause. The man's sash carried his name written in large letters, along with the name of the prefecture he was running for office in. Of course.
夕刻の同志丸山〇〇くんを皆さんにご紹介いたします。
Let me introduce you to a patriot. They said his name, but I don't remember it anymore.
夕刻の同志丸山〇〇くんを皆さんにご紹介いたします。
Maruyama Marumaru? I don't know why they X'd out his name.
彼丸山くんは長年前知事の下で知事室長を務め、その懐刀として長いこと県政を支えてまいりました。
Problem with local fiction is that from time to time you end up having ultra-nationalists slip in. Sometimes! Yup. It's like, oh god. Who did I watch that movie with last year? Was it with you and Kala Austin? Did we watch, a Lupin movie? Where suddenly, I didn't realize this until the end of the movie, that suddenly there were like fucking Nazis in the movie, and I'm like, oh, that was a surprise. It was kind of jarring. Like I didn't get what was happening until the fucking, it was just spelled out for me, and I'm like, oh, hi, that's in there. Very interesting. They X'd out previous things regarding governments as to generalize it more. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just interesting that they left it in the voice acting. Yeah, Lupin is crazy like that. It was very interesting. Lupin loves its Nazis. It's insane in and out of context. I didn't know that. That was like my first, especially animated Lupin movie. I didn't watch a real life Lupin movie before, but I don't remember which one that was. I don't think that had any Nazis in them. But that one did, and it just kind of jumped out at me, and I was like, oh, hi. I didn't know you were in there as well. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. This man has served the former governor as his right-hand man as director of the office of the governor for many years. That was a sentence. Supporting the prefecture's government for a long time.
この度、前知事が高齢により勇退を決意され、その後任として指名されたのがここにいる丸山くんなのであります。
Thank you for the sub, Ayo. I'm just gonna say Ayo. I think that's a funny name. Ayo. I suspected and went to check, and it seems like Marumaru is actually intended to be censored placeholder text. I mean, I'm just confused as to why they would like read it out like that. Maybe that's just something that they do. So Marumaru is basically like XXXX. I mean, I would have expected them to just say X-kun, for example. I don't know. That part in particular was definitely a little jarring. I did like the movie too, but it was very jarring. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected, even though it was kind of obvious from the beginning. It works. Love the vibes here. I'm great. I'm great. I'm glad. Holy shit. I'm very happy that you think so. It's a good thing history surrounding World War II stays in the public consciousness. Yeah, it is. It's very important. I mean, it's a very basic sentence, but you know how people say, you know, history repeats itself. And if you're not aware of history, how would you know not to repeat the same mistakes? you know? So it needs to be something that is constantly on your mind, which is why it's so important that people are taught about the history, objective history, not subjective history where countries go on about how great their country is and ignores all the problems that this country has caused and whatnot. It's important to state the facts of what happened in history so that people are aware not to repeat mistakes. It is incredibly important. That's how it's stated in Japanese. It's the same thing. It's smarter because an empty circle is like an English blank. Blank? It's an empty circle. Huh, interesting. Also, thank you, Amadas, for gifting a sub to Nu. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. It will look like this. Oh. And is the circles are the maru maru. And then the two at the end are kun? Is that it? And the maru meaning circle are supposed to go 2 kanjis for the name. Ah, I see, I see. Okay, I understand. They do it for quizzes. That's cool. I did not know that. I just put sun there. Okay, okay. Man, it's been so long since that's... Oh my god, is that hiragana? I'm not even sure anymore. I learned Japanese exactly 10 years ago. I used to be able to read a lot of text in hiragana, but since I haven't looked at hiragana at all in the past 10 years, I've completely unlearned it all. The only hiragana that I know now is the one for no, N-O, because it's the one that appears in the Attack on Titan title, Shingeki no Kyojin, and that's the only one that I can remember. It's a lot better to follow Higurashi with no ads. True, true. Learn from VR chat for gate-kept Japanese only words. They give you always fill-in quizzes. I'm so intrigued by that for some reason. That is so cool. I totally would have just assumed that this was that person's name. Now I'm kind of curious to other times where they've had like a placeholder in the text, what they were saying in the voice acting. Yes, that's the one, Fita. Unfortunately, we have those anti-Japan teachers in our prefecture. While they proclaim freedom of education and freedom of thought, they're shamelessly forcing an anti-Japan education down on our children. They don't teach real history, they teach our children that everything was Japan's fault. They don't even mention the true purpose of the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere or all those who fought to save Asian peoples from Western control. Oh my god. I don't even want to read that. I don't want to read the stuff that this guy says. They don't even talk about how many Asian countries were actually Western colonies before Japan stood up for our freedom during the war. Our country has recovered amazingly since then. Yet our children don't know any of that because those teachers don't teach them. I'm sure they don't teach them anything. Oh my god. How truly, truly sad. Yes, exactly. This is awful. Yeah, he's freaking out. I can't stand the fact that those anti-Japan teachers are actually teaching our children alongside those teachers who take teaching seriously. They're insulting our educational institutions.
私、丸山〇〇は県知事に就任し、そういったクズのもをすべて通用し、
I will become a governor and get rid of those teachers.
県の教育を正し、
Why is he
日
screaming?
本
You
の
need
将
to
来を
chill.
担うことができる健全な若者たちを育てることができる環境を取り戻すことで、日本再生100年の経営の礎を築いていく覚悟であります。
I will straighten out our education system and make sure our children will grow up to be decent young people who can carry on Japan's future. Rikishi is great at writing awful-ass people. Yup. Fucking the worst people ever. He's really good at that. That was a stunning Nasakenai, yeah. He's a good VA, but damn, this politician is freaking out. It'd be like this, unrelated to that. In Japan, there are males called oi. They're supposed to be called red marui. I'm calling them oi for years. Honestly, I would have thought the same thing. Ah, okay. Oi. That's funnier though than marui. Didn't keep up. What is that bozo talking about? Historic oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Revisionism. Like that? I can read difficult words. Yeah, basically. I mean, he's just talking about how the teachers aren't teaching the children in school proper Japanese history. They are, you know, leaving out the parts where Japan freed themselves from Western colonies and whatnot, and they're teaching them all the wrong stuff. Basically, the teachers are woke. Basically that. Just in a different context. That's what this guy is yapping about.
彼、丸山〇〇君は来年の県知事選挙に立候補いたします。
I'm just gonna say Maru-Maru-kun announces his candidacy for the next year's prefectural governorship.
どうか皆さん、温かい応援とみなぎるお力で彼、丸山〇〇君をどうか男にしてやってください。
We appreciate your support for him.
丸山〇〇、
Oh my god.
日本の教育を正してまいります。
I promise I will straighten out Japan's education
ど
system.
うかよろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you for your support. He just started screaming more and more. Again, the banquet room filled with applause. The man was receiving a standing ovation. I need to explain a bit about this banquet before you misunderstand. It wasn't a conference of a political association or a lecture by a political candidate. It was hard to believe, but this was nothing more than a meeting of a college's alumni association. Okay, that's even weirder! Everyone should be familiar with what those are. Whether it's elementary school, junior high school, or college, once you graduate from one of those, you normally belong to an organization of alumni. You receive invitations for your reunions where you enjoy talking about the good old days. However, there are many different types of such organizations. Some are simple, and some are united with much tighter bonds. And once an organization becomes united with those tight bonds, it's no longer a simple organization of alumni. Rather, it becomes a significant faction known as Alma Mater Clique? Clique? I don't know how to say it in that context. Clique. Like a damn goblin. He was, like, the VA was doing a good job, but I think him screaming like that, it kind of reminds me of someone. This must be Takano's life in college. Do you think she managed to break out from the orphanage? I kind of have a feeling that she actually was dragged back. I don't think she was able to go to college. Or maybe she did go later in her life. But I'm thinking that this must be the organization that her quote-unquote grandfather belongs to. You know, the researcher. The parasite in the brain researcher who is definitely right in the brain. I don't think my university class will be doing a reunion. Yep, I don't think that's very common nowadays anymore. I haven't heard of people doing that around me. Like, I have a lot of friends who graduate from not high school. Well, yes, high school as well, but university. But so far, I haven't heard from them, like, mentioning any type of reunion or stuff. I don't think it's that big of a thing anymore. Not here, anyway. Also, the more superior the alma mater, the stronger that tendency holds true. Wait, did I read the... Yes, I did read the previous part. The Imperial University, one of the best universities in the country, is famous for the deep bonds its graduates form. What do superior people like to bond? It may be because they take pride in being superior. But more than that, maintaining connections is the most significant reason. All Imperial University graduates are elites in their respective fields. They are likely to succeed and become important people. When they do, the unity of their alumni association gains immeasurable meaning. In fact, even today, the Imperial University graduates maintain their tight academic clique, and they hold great influence throughout many different fields. They interact with other universities as well, so the graduates' bonds are extremely tight even today. Additionally, while Imperial University usually refers to the University of Tokyo, sometimes it's used to mean all 7 major universities in Japan. They are located in Tokyo, Kyoto, Tohoku, Kyushu, Hokkaido, Osaka, and Nagoya. They're all great schools. There happens to be an organization of alumni that includes all of those 7 universities. The elderly gentlemen in this banquet room were each from one of those organizations. However, not every graduate would get an invitation here automatically. It is a society of select gentlemen, and in order to become a member, one must first fulfill several conditions, such as recommendation from an existing member, contribution to the society, possessions of status, and so forth. Select gentlemen. I see. Yeah, sure. You could say that. Yeah. I suppose she did get dragged back. Well, we didn't see it, but I'm guessing that wasn't the end of her trauma. I just imagined a situation where a class in the early 2000s tries to make a reunion with their own email newsletter. That must have been so cute, honestly. I don't know. I've been not rewatching. I have been watching. I have never seen this before. Although I have seen some clips on the internet before. But I've been watching Two Broke Girls recently. And it's like the perfect early 2000s show, in my opinion. I don't know. It's really cute to see them with their little flip phones and stuff. And talking about making their own website. And sending a bunch of emails. And it's really cute. I miss those times. Straight up Burschenschaft. Oh my god! That's exactly what it is! That's exactly what it is, Nu! Therefore, all the members are important people from different fields, and obviously the power of this organization is of a political nature. But there's one more very important criterion one has to meet to join. Strong patriotism. What a surprise. A heart that belongs to contribute to Japan and its rebirth. Maybe this is how Tokyo was formed. As a result, this organization has become extremely nationalistic. On the stage, the candidate for the prefectural governorship was still talking passionately. And among those elderly gentlemen in the crowd, Takano can be found. Takano seemed to use this kind of conference and seemed unsurprised at anything that was said. I'm guessing this is not our lovely lady Takano, but Hifumi Takano. But at the same time, oh no, it is actually our Takano, never mind. She looked rather fed up with it. As she was in attendance, she must have been one of their members, which meant she possessed not only an extremely excellent academic background, but that the older gentleman here had acknowledged her equivalent contributions to society, and that she possessed strong patriotism. So this is like after she woke up in her car after that nightmare, I'm guessing. I was rewatching a few Haruhi Suzumiya episodes, and I kept thinking about how the story relies on them not having phones and only being able to talk to each other at school. Yeah. I remember having to either remember my friends' phone numbers or just having to walk up to their apartments to meet up for stuff. Because, like, we didn't have phones. The internet was like, yes, it existed, but we usually didn't have access to it until like way later in our lives. So I could only walk over to my friend's home and like ring the doorbell to see if she was there, or if I knew her phone number, I would call, but I was usually too awkward to call because then I'd have to go through her parents and be like, hey, can I talk to my friend? So, yeah. However, her academic background was the only qualification she had met to join. She was only able to join as a special case because of her connections. She didn't even hold prejudiced ideas like the other members did. So why was she here today? Probably because of the same reason as the man giving a speech up on stage. The man on the stage didn't actually have prejudiced ideas, much like Takano. He only prepared a speech that he knew the guests would like. Politicians only want votes. Each and every person has a vote, but appealing to each and one of them takes too long. So the most efficient way is to appeal to organizations with a unified idea and a unified will. In other words, this man was giving this speech so he can garner support from those powerful people. The elderly gentlemen in the banquet room will then do their best to support him since he appears to share their ideals. They can offer many different kinds of expediency. Oh my god, I have to look up how to say that. Support and assistance. Expediency? I can type. I can... Please. Expediency. Oh my god. Expediency. Actually, not that hard. I still have memories of calling elementary classmates home from sheets we got. Oh, yes. We used to get them at the start of every year. That's a funny thing they do with Bunny Girl Senpai as well, with the MC not having a smartphone since he threw his in the ocean. Oh, true. I remember that. Calling a friend and the parents picking up was so awkward. It's like, hi, can I please talk to so-and-so? But it was kind of cute. I don't know. It had its own charm. I know at some point every generation has, the kids these days, thoughts, and I'm at that stage, but more so like these poor kids have too much access to technology that can be exploited in really bad ways. I agree though. I think, I don't know, I also grew up with technology. I grew up with consoles and like, I did grow up with the internet, like for the most part. Not my super early years, but you know, sometime in my teens, I had a lot of access to the internet, so it was very mixed. But I feel like nowadays kids are overexposed to it a little bit, to the wrong type of media, maybe. The wrong type of technology. I think there's still a lot of technology that is being produced for kids, but like, I don't see any quote-unquote fake phones or like stuff that we had back then, that when you would buy a magazine or whatever, you had like a fake phone and it was super cool, but your parents didn't get you an actual phone because you were much too young for that, you know? And nowadays the phones are way different from back then. Flip phones are not comparable to smartphones at all. And it's difficult to find a middle ground. I don't think taking away technology from kids is the solution. I just think we need more technology catered to kids. Because that doesn't seem to be a focus nowadays anymore. Also, hello Roxora. Hi. Hope you're doing good today. Nearly every time I've seen Spooky doubt her pronunciation, she nailed it the first time. I don't think I nailed expediency. I was kind of butchering it. I have so much more Bunny Senpai content to watch than I thought. It's a lot. I've only watched season 1 as well. I will definitely have to watch the rest. I've always been uncomfortable with people being bratty towards younger generations. Yeah, and it's not like their fault either. They're being influenced by today's society and today's technology. It is not their fault. It is not their fault that they are having this access to that technology and that they're using it the way that they are. It's just kids, man. They don't know any better. You give them a fucking iPad with TikTok on it, they're gonna be on that thing all day long. And they're gonna be influenced much differently than my generation or the generation previously. You know, it's just how it works. Actually sat up straight when I heard fake phone. It's like the memories came rushing back. Oh man, I used to love my fake phone that broke in half when you put it down the wrong way. There's the the Beyblade, the Yu-Gi-Oh, they all just have a phone in their hand. Yeah, but it's not even their fault. That's the bad part about all of this. Catered experience and controlled access from guardians. Yeah, but the thing is that nowadays, it's not even just the parents' fault either. It would be so easy to just put all the blame on them, but it's not true either. Parents are overworked. Both parents have to work nowadays because, you know, pay isn't enough. So they have to go to work, both of them. They're gonna be tired. They can't afford, you know, maybe they can't afford someone to supervise their children. So the easiest thing for them to do is to just give them a phone, free entertainment. They don't really have to pay too much attention, and they can, you know, do whatever else they need to do. And I think it's a problem with, I don't want to say society. Fuck society! I think the problem is bigger than kids being kids and parents being quote-unquote lazy. I think it's a lot of things that go into that, and it's a bigger problem that needs to be solved. People our age have this thing where we both grew up with the internet, but we also remember a time where it didn't exist in its current form. Yeah, I grew up with limited internet access, but at some point, you know, I had my own PC and everything, and it was just so different. I remember actually going on websites. Nowadays, I don't know. With the way, for example, Google works, you don't even go on different websites anymore. You're just on Google all the time. Everything is so different. All I know of that show is that the bunny senpai has the same birthday as I. That's the most important part, honestly. But it's actually a really nice show. It's basically like Monogatari, but without all the lewd and harem stuff. Speaking of Monogatari, I bought the first season of light novels for Monogatari. It was a tough decision because I read all about the lewd and like fan servicey stuff, and people were glazing that light novel series, okay? They were like, listen, it's so good even with all that lewd and weird stuff, and I was like, you know, fine. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll read the first season of light novels, and if it's too bad, I won't buy the rest. Fuck society! Flash games were so chill. They were so cool. I loved Flash games. Then we got tablets at school to play Clash of Clans on. We didn't even have that. I got a phone super late. I think I was like, like 15, 16 when I got my first smartphone, and then I was like, look guys, I finally have poo on my phone. The P-O-O, not poo as in P-O-O, okay? The little brown, not helping my case, a little brown thingy that you took care of on your phone. It's basically like Tamagotchi, but for your phone, and I was like many years too late. Uh-oh, Monogatari. Scary. Speaking with my coworkers that have kids in the range from 1 to 15, all of them are trying to limit the access their kids have to the internet. Yeah, because I think it's important to put a limit on it, because children are influenced so quickly, and you don't know how it's going to present itself. So it's good that people are realizing that, oh, maybe I shouldn't give my kid unlimited access to the internet at all times, because that can have some pretty negative effects. I'm glad that people are realizing that, even though it must be really hard. I don't want to imagine what it's like to be a parent and have to take care of a child and not, you know, be able to maybe finance having a nanny or whatever. Anime on forums, none of that Reddit stuff. I used to have a very specific website where I would go for gaming talk. I think it was called Spieletips. Basically gaming tips. Translated. A little brown. It was basically a pile of poop, but it's not poop. It's a little living being. Playing Snake on my mom's phone in primary was peak. True. Shingeki no Kyojin opening on iTunes. Yeah, oh my god. The good old days. Where I had some money on my phone, and then my friend took my phone and she played a game and accidentally bought something in the little pre-installed game on my flip phone, and they just took everything from my SIM card. the money that I had loaded onto it so I could call my family was all gone. Anime AMVs. Oh, I used to watch them a lot too. Crossing Field by Lisa. Hell yeah. A Nokia brick, and I did play a lot of Snake on that thing. I also had a Nokia brick. My family bought a lot of like phones back in the day. My family had a bunch of Motorola's. Motorola's? Is that what they're called? Yes. And I think Sony Ericsson? And I think we also had, what are they called? Like is it the ones with the keyboards? Are those called like Blackberries? They always had such fruity names. Blackberry phone. Yeah, Blackberry. Good old razors, exactly. Snake. I had Snake on my phone, and I think I also had Tetris on another flip phone that I had. Or like a similar, I don't know if it was like original Tetris, probably not, but something like it. The early years are the most vital. Try to keep screens away and be strong. Don't resort to let them watch videos on phones and tablets, especially like, except like TikTok, okay? I'm not a TikTok enjoyer. I don't think it's a particularly good app. Not for kids, not for adults, not for anyone really. It's every time I hear something about TikTok, it's like, oh my god, shit is going down. People are getting influenced in all the wrong ways, and I'm like, okay, maybe don't use it. Maybe don't go on there. My first phone. I wanted a BlackBerry, but the one that we had only worked for like a short time until it broke, and then I was never able to use it. Tetris or Bejeweled? Yeah. I remember Bejeweled. I never got into watching TikTok, and I have an extension that removes Shorts tabs and functions on my browsers. I downloaded TikTok once, and I used it for 2 minutes, and I got overwhelmed by all the ads, like all the buttons and everything, so that I uninstalled it immediately. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I don't need this. I'm okay. And yeah, since I have recommendations off, I don't get shorts recommended to me on YouTube, so it's been kind of nice. But that also means that I don't get to see all of my video essays. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, VOD watchers. You have to skip like 2 hours because I'm talking about completely unrelated shit. I'm so sorry. Also, thank you for the raid, River. Hi. We were talking about you earlier because Space mentioned that you were streaming again, and then I checked Twitch, the web browser, and you weren't live for me, but you were live on my app. I hope you had fun playing Metropolis Mania 2. You have a very, very cute model, River. It's really, really cute. Hello, Risa. Hello, Weiri. Of course, hello, River. Hello, Mark. Hope we're all doing good today. We're just talking about, what are we talking about? Technology and the effects it has on children and adults. We're talking about, scary things. And we're also playing Higurashi right now, which is also talking about what is the best way to summarize it. We have some nationalist people all gathered in a room talking about political things. It's about as bad as you can imagine. I'm coming back to do big streaming. Hell yeah! I'm happy to see you back. I hope you had fun. Download TikTok for one day, kept giving me notifications and recommendations. Yep, it was gone so fast from my phone as well. I'll grab food and rest here. Enjoy your food. I hope it's tasty, yummy. They're talking about teachers being too woke. That's the teachers not teaching young children the correct things, which is nationalistic views and approaches. So it's a bunch of strange people all gathered in a room. Where were we? Blah 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 blah. Okay, political guy pretending to share the same ideals as a few nationalistic elderly people. They can offer many different kinds of expediency, support, and assistance to an outrageous degree, I might add. If the day's event continued in the same way, the organization would likely decide to officially support him. They will probably give him a great deal of financial aid. They'll assist him in different ways as well. Of course, the man on the stage won't be the only one gaining something. When he wins the election and becomes a governor next year, the organization will welcome the governor as a new member and gain even more political influence. And eventually, the organization will become so powerful that nobody can ignore it. Those of you reading this right now probably get the sense that they're no mere alumni association. You'd be absolutely right. After reaching this level, they were a fine syndicate. No, they would be a secret society if the group wasn't so open about its activities. Now, I'm sure some of you readers are brushing this off, thinking there's no way such a suspicious organization could exist in Japan, but everything I've explained is entirely true. There are several such influential groups and organizations within our society, and you need to understand that they hold powerful political clout and influence our national policies. I'm wondering if this is like Ryukishi talking to me right now, or if it's supposed to be a character's inner thoughts, but I'm thinking it's Ryukishi since Takano's in the room and we addressed her in third person. Some are alma mater cliques like the one I've described above. Others are scientific societies serving different parties, industrial groups, advisory committees, religious organizations, community service groups, and so forth. Also, there are right wings and left wings, the hawk and the dove. I won't go listing their specific names here, yet you've probably read them every now and then in your average newspaper. In Japan, the terms for such forces aren't very common. Most of your readers probably think of a suspicious organization wearing white hoods when you hear the phrase secret society and laugh it off. But unfortunately, that's a huge mistake. In America, where there's far more territory and citizens, there's way more groups like that, and they possess such a vast influence that ignoring them is impossible. So the terms they use for such forces doesn't apply to those on the scale of this syndicate. Sometimes people say that such groups have more power than the White House, and they are referred to as the shadow government. Oh my god. Ryukishi is really reeling it all in. A bit of both, presumably. Crazier stuff. I mean, I believe him. We're literally in a time right now where this is more relevant than in the last, like, what? Let's say 10 years? I think the last 10 years, this stuff was still there, but nowadays it's becoming more and more and more relevant. So you can only imagine, this was like, what, the early 2000s? Ryukishi was already writing about this sort of stuff. And now just think about how it is today. It's worse. Somehow it got worse. Choir reunion. That is pretty cool, though. Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Higurashi is not a comfy game. Noted when I watched from the start. It's not super comfy. Although it's not always this political. I feel like this episode in particular is very political. We haven't had politics in a hot minute. Or not obvious descriptions of political happenings. Can we go back to people stabbing and killing each other? This is getting depressed. This is too real. This is too real. You know, I was so oblivious in the beginning when we played this, and I was like, oh my god, this is a story about demons and normal people and people being influenced by demons to kill each other. Oh, that's so cool. This is like magic. It's like a fantasy type of setting. And now it's like, oh my god, this is just real life stuff that we're talking about right now, and this is actually kind of depressing. It'll always be relevant, yep. And it should be talked about. So I'm happy to see him talk about this. I didn't expect him to go into such detail, though. I saw the big belly guy and picked him as the whole mood of the game. If only. Oishi is a mood. But yeah, these types of politics will always be somehow relevant in society. But it should always be talked about, you know? This exists and we have to talk about it, otherwise it'll be forgotten, and then it'll be worse because, you know, history will repeat itself. I think the demons and curse parts are real in a philosophical sense. Yeah. But like, in the beginning, they also had the discussion, you know, in the game. They were like, oh, is it actual demons? Or is it all just humans? Is it all man-made? But back then I was kind of naive and I was like, oh, no, this is supernatural, right? It's not all man-made. It can't be. And then, you know, episode 2 rolls around and Rikishi starts talking about politics in great detail, and I was like, oh, hold on. Hold on. It's definitely very interesting how Rikishi has been implementing it since the start of the game and has just been leaning into it deeper and deeper. Even here in Japan, we had a shadow government before the war, our Zaibatsu. After we lost the war, the GHQ dismantled those blocks, but 40 years have passed since then. There's no guarantee our country hasn't given birth to another shadow government, given how good we are at collusion, groundwork, and backroom deals. Mio Takano was, in fact, attending a conference of such a shadow government. Do we get to see her now? Show me. Mio Takano. There might appear to be a guest house at a huge golf course. There were no golfers inside, but by appearances, that must be it. But appearances can be deceiving. This wasn't a golf course, but a huge backyard. The guest house was, in fact, a very stylish mansion. Normal people would be surprised to learn that this was a private residence. Of course it is. This couch looks like a giant marshmallow. Oh, I wonder what this looks like in the other style, actually. What? This is not the same... This is not the same room. Look at this. This style here is, like, very elegant and stuff, but this is not the same vibe as this image. Look at this. This looks like a very big, out-of-style marshmallow couch. It's a very different vibe. This would not be in the same room as the stuff from this. This looks like straight out of Umineko. Yeah, Silent Hill F is also by Rikishi. I think it also deals with political themes, especially surrounding, what was it? I don't know the details, but surrounding women's rights, women's bodies? That sort of stuff. I have to play it still, but I heard it deals with those kinds of things, which is pretty cool. The Koopalings. It looks like someone's living room. Yeah, this looks like my family's living room back in the early 2000s. We also had a big couch like this, which was in a similar shape, but not this color. The interior of the building was as lavish as the exterior. There were beautiful carpets on every floor, expensive-looking decorations on the wall, and expensive-looking bottles of alcohol on the shelves. That's the kind of room Takano was in. There was a knock at the door, and an old man in a wheelchair and a young woman pushing it entered. As Takano stood up to bow, the old man stopped her by raising his right hand. Koizumi. I have a feeling that I remember that name, but I'm not sure. Used market couch free, but you have to pick it up. Especially with this shape, that sounds like a nightmare. What kind of car would you need to fit that in there? I was gonna say that it looks like the room of a classmate of mine. Yeah, it's this is a very relatable picture for some reason. It's kind of nostalgic. No, you don't need to stand up. Long time no see. I've been telling you to come see me anytime, but you never do. It's great to see you, Koizumi-sensei. The old man sat down on the sofa with assistance from the woman. He was very old, his face was covered in wrinkles, and he could hardly do anything on his own. Even so, he still held a great deal of power and influence. Oh my, you haven't changed a bit, have you? I can see lipstick on your neck. Gulp. All-shaped car, obviously. Makes sense, makes sense. Because she's a Latin American heritage.
ほそれ本当かね
Is that right?
やれやれこれはお恥ずかしいの
Good grief, how embarrassing. There was no lipstick on his neck. The woman who was helping him with his wheelchair was too beautiful to be a mere helper, so Takano had suspected something. As it turned out, her guess was correct. Although he was so old that he could die the next day, he wanted to stay sexually active until the very end. All right, thanks for the details, the deeds. I didn't want to know that, but sure. Even the Grim Reaper would think that's just absurd.
みおちゃんもいつの間にかすっかり美人さんに成長したの
Mio-chan, you've become quite beautiful yourself.
いつまでも小さいと思っとったらいつの間にの
You're not a little girl anymore. Okay, Grandpa.
ご冗談を。本当にそう思われていたら、私のお尻を撫でようなんてなさいませんわ。
Excuse me? Oh, stop. If you really think that way, why did you try to touch my bottom, Get me out of here. Get me out of here, like, right now. I need to go. Everyone in this... Oh my god. Everyone in this episode is deranged. Please, let me out of here. Didn't Takano have another name in the intro? Oh, yeah, what was it? It wasn't Mio. It was, it was longer. It was longer. I don't remember. Massive Erm.
おい先短い年寄りに触らせても
Okay.
減るもんではないに
What have you got to lose from having an old guy like me touch your butt?
私よりももっと柔らかいお尻を散々撫でておいでのくせに。
I'm sure you have plenty of chances to touch a softer butt, don't you? Thank you for making me read this, Yukishi. Takano and the old man enjoyed a tasteless conversation. They had clearly known each other a long time and were very close. The young woman came back in to serve tea. After she left, the old man started to speak.
しかし
You really don't need to read this. I'm committed.
みおちゃんは本当に立派な子だの
Anyway, I'm so proud of you, you,
高
Mio-chan.
野くんもこれほど立派に育ってくれてきっとあの世で鼻高々だろうな
I'm sure your grandfather in heaven is proud of you
そう
too.
であればいいのですが、
I hope
祖
so.
父の偉業には私など足元にも及びません。
But I'm not even close to approaching the level of my grandfather's great work. You have to read. I'm doing my
高
best.
野
I'm
くん
doing
も
it.
いろいろと運がなかった
Takano-kun was unlucky in many different
時
ways.
代にも恵まれんかった
The era he lived
も
in,
し何もない時代に研究をしておったならあんたに引き継がせることもなく見事研究を完成させておっただろうの
if he lived in a different era, I'm sure he would have finished his
です
research.
が、そういう時代だったからこそ、皮肉にも祖父はひなみ沢症候群の存在に気づくことができました。
But he lived in that era, and ironically, that was why he noticed the existence of the Hinamizawa syndrome. The world today is in the nuclear era, with America and the Soviet Union glaring at each other over mounds of nuclear stockpiles. It takes nukes to have authority as a major power. Yet we forever abandoned our nukes thanks to our 3 anti-nuclear principles. In this age, we are now a nation without nukes. How deplorable. In the middle of the 20th century, despite rising tensions between East and West, there was a temporary peace known as the Cold War, brought by a balance of nuclear weapons pointed at one another. Permanent memberships in the United Nations were monopolized by nations with nuclear arms. They secured their predominance with nuclear weapons, bound the world with nuclear non-proliferation treaties, eternally banning non-nuclear nations from the world stage. I do not know what non-proliferation even means. Non-proliferation. International efforts and measures designed to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, materials, and technology while promoting the peaceful use of nuclear energy. Yes, exactly. Countries that sign the NPT give up the use of nukes as a military weapon. Okay. Makes sense. For Japan to become a nation that can compete with the world, it must develop nuclear arms or something as powerful. That's what some people believed, at least. Realistically, Japan will never arm itself with nuclear weapons. I know. The citizens wouldn't accept it. Even if the government ignored their opinions and armed itself with nuclear weapons, it wouldn't work. By abandoning nuclear weaponry, Japan gained the deterrent power of the United States. Though some people thought the only way for Japan to become equal to the United States would be to get nuclear arms of their own. But realistically, that was impossible. Even if Japan armed itself with nuclear weapons, that wouldn't automatically let Japan join the great powers. Takano and the old man discussed the balance of nuclear power in the world. Eventually, the sound of the cuckoo clock reminded them to return to their main subject at hand. The old man pointed to the attaché case that had been sitting next. What? Attaché? It's an actual name for a case that holds documents. It's a rectangular case used for carrying documents, but usually it has like a little, what do you call it? A little line above the E. Attaché? Yeah, I think you're right. It's missing the little line above the E, which is what would make it easier to read. Yeah. Accent d'aigu? Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what it's called anymore. Don't they also have like different names depending on which direction they go in? I don't remember. It's the one that goes from the bottom left to the top right. Yeah, you understand? Takano nodded once, opened it up, and removed the contents. There were brand new bills packed in it. How much was actually in there? A bundle of brand new million-yen bills is 1 centimeter, so there must have been at least enough to make up 8 digits. There were also 2 more attaché cases by her side. However, neither Takano nor the old man were surprised at all. Takano closed the attaché case and bowed. I can't say that normally. In Portuguese, there's one to the other side, like If it's up or down, no idea what that shit is called. Oh yeah, I don't remember. So one of them is called accent d'aigu. So I don't know. Thank you very much, Koizumi-sensei. I'll never forget about this. Money should be handled by younger people. I can't take it to heaven with me. I just hope this will be of assistance to you. Use it wisely. Of course I will. I'll use this money only to make my grandfather's dream come true. I envy Takano-kun. What a wonderful grandchild he has. I'm sure he's bragging about you up there. I haven't done anything yet. I'll have earned this praise when I complete my grandfather's work. Hello, Deadly Cookie. Hope you're doing good today. It's a rule that you can only use an attaché case if you're using it to move around bribery money. Oh! I mean, yes, I had assumed so that this was, you know, kind of known for being used as something to transport illegally obtained money. That's how she got the status, gained the system. Sad that she's already pretty far gone here. Yeah, this is like current day. I'm guessing that this is around the same time that the events in Hinamizawa happened, so she's long lost. I'm making pizza? Oh my god, I haven't had pizza in so long. Hope you enjoy it. Yummy, yummy. Also, thank you for the hydrate, Zero. I'm so
う
jealous.
ちのせがれたちは全然ダメだ。
My boys are no good.
金儲けのことしか頭にない。
They're only interested in making money.
金は儲けてからが大切なんだ。
What really matters is how the money is spent.
その儲けた金でお国のために何を貢献できるかが大切なんだ。
How you contribute to the country is what's most important.
それこそが今日まで自分を育んでくれたお国へのご恩返しっちゅうもんなんだがの。
That's how you pay your debt to it, you know?
あら、たくさんの愛人たちに気前よくおごるのもお国へのご恩返しなんですの。
Oh, so you're saying that treating all those lovers so lavishly is also a way of repaying your country?
もちろんだとも。
Of
あい
course.
つらが買い物をすれば金は巡ってお国に戻る。
When they shop, the country makes money.
金は天下の回り物だ。
Money goes around, you see. Lieferando with my pizza just arrived. Oh my god, now I want pizza too! Ah. What will I eat today? I forgot. We had a plan, but I forgot what it was. However, those lovers would probably end up buying some foreign goods. Things probably don't work quite the way this old man thinks they do. Takano chuckled to herself.
だが女どもにばらまく金とミオちゃんに託す金は意味が全く違う。
But the money I give to those women and the money I give to you are completely different.
存じております。
I know that very well.
ミオちゃんは今日までよく頑張ってきた。
You've worked very hard.
礼を尽くし大勢の人たちの信用と支持を取り付けた。
You've retained trust and support from so many people.
今だから話すな。春山くんも望月くんも最初は君のことを若すぎると批判的だったんだがね。
This is the first time I've mentioned it, but Haruyama-kun and Mochizuki-kun both weren't sure about you because of your age at first. So she's probably still pretty young. Maybe this isn't present time. I forgot how old she is in, what was it, 1987? I forgot what age it was. Compared to them, everyone is young. I mean, this guy is like basically dead, so... And I'm guessing Haruyama and Mochizuki are about the same age as this old guy, so... Yeah. You could be in your 60s, and that would still be considered a youngling to these guys. Anyway, there's gonna be an ad break in a couple of seconds, and it's getting really dark here, so I'm gonna use that to turn on the light. And, I'm kind of hungry. Maybe I'll get another snack. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I learned that today I'm eating meatballs, like the, oh my god, köttbullar, the ones from IKEA, which I'm kind of looking forward to. Thank you, Fita. I have no idea where this chapter is going, honestly, since we didn't make a lot of progress in the last 2.5 hours, but I'm guessing this is just to build a little bit of backstory for Takano, which is pretty good. Since I was curious about her motives, and I'm guessing it's like, so far we know that it's mostly for her grandfather, which is pretty interesting. And I'm guessing that he was also part of this organization, which is why she also now is part of this organization. So she was kind of dragged into this by him. But how she got to be with that guy, since he's not her biological grandfather, we have yet to learn. So I hope that we can know what happened to her after she got caught by that orphanage guy.
だから私もミオちゃんのその努力を認めてその金を託すんだ。
That's why I'm acknowledging your efforts, and that's why I'm giving you this money. I understand.
そしてな、
Also,
その金を私が託すつうことはの、
for me to give you this money,
私がミオちゃんを 高野くんの研究の正式な後継者だと認めたということなんだ。
Means that I recognize you as the official successor of Takano-kun's
あり
research.
がとうございます。
Thank you very much.
私ごとき若輩に委ねてくださったことに深く感謝いたします。
Thank you for believing in me. I truly appreciate it. I think this is the first time that we see her thank someone so honestly. She's usually very... cheeky? Is that the correct way to say it? She's, you know how she is. It's Takano. Also, the game audio. I forgot to put it up. Like that.
いやいや、これは高野くんと君の研究だ。
No, don't mention it. This research is Takano-kun's and yours too.
彼もミオちゃん以外が引き継ぐことを望まなかっただろうの。
He wouldn't want anyone else to take over.
だからミオちゃんがここまで上り詰めたおかげで他の年寄りたちをより説得しやすかったわけだ。
Welcome back, New. Finished your coaster? Oh man, my friend made some coasters for me, and it was pretty cool. It's like a little potted plant, and the leaves you use as coasters. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You missed yeah, we yapped for a really long time about the politics and whatnot. What else did we talk about? Technology. We talked about technology and the effects it has on people, children especially. Barely made any progress in the game. We talked about all sorts of stuff. Yap, yap, yap. Pizza. Yeah, very important. I want to see what you made new. I haven't done anything crafty in a pretty long time. I used to be able to like make hats and stuff, but it's been too long. I don't know how to make it anymore. So, thanks to all of your effort, I didn't have to spend too much time convincing the other old
祖父の
folks.
完成できなかった研究を私が完成させることだけが私ができる祖父への唯一の恩返しですから。
Completing my grandfather's research is the least I can do for
その
him.
ために求められる努力ならばいといません。
I won't begrudge any efforts towards that aim. Takano smiled as she remembered everything she had to go through to get to this point. It went without saying, but the old men around Takano saw her as someone from their grandchildren's generation, or maybe even younger. Just how much trouble did Takano have to endure in order to gain the trust of those with such a large generation gap? It was hard to describe to those who couldn't even imagine her trouble. But Takano earned it. She gathered allies, drove away enemies, garnered support, and forced them to recognize her. She spent a long time establishing trust and rising to a status that the old men would welcome. Which was all the more reason this meeting was a reward for her many days of hardship. Now that she officially had a powerful influence backing her, she could spread her wings and see the completion of her grandfather's unfinished research.
さて、高野くんの研究を正式に引き継ぐことになったなら。
You posted it in your server. Hold on. Wonder Cube. Look at this. Oh my god, that's so cute. That's adorable. And the little Tails mug. You have a Tails mug. Beautiful. Yes, I used to be able to make little knit hats. They're pretty cool. Or like beanies, rather, I guess. Well, now that you're officially continuing Takano-kun's research,
ミオちゃんにも話しておかなきゃならんことがある。
there's something I need to tell you, Miyo-chan.
何でしょう。伺います。
What is it? I'm listening. The old man paused and pulled an expensive cigarette from the cigarette holder on the table. Takano lit it up for him. She didn't smoke herself, but knowing that the old man did, she kept a lighter in her pocket. The constant build-up of little gestures like that were how she gained the trust she held today. Takano-kun noticed the Hinamizawa syndrome in Manchuria. Manchuria? Not Japan? Where's Manchuria? Manchuria. Northeast Asia. Encompassing the entirety of present-day northeast China and parts of the modern-day Russian Far East. Huh. Okay. I'm sorry to disappoint, the mug was borrowed from the Rip Skip. I see. It's a pretty cool mug though. And the coaster is really, really cute. I like the colors. It's very new colored. I don't know. I associate you with very colorful, vibrant colors for some reason. Colorful colors. Can you believe it? I have a friend who was really into knitting recently. I wonder if she still does. Yeah, I also have a friend. Well, the one that made the coasters for me. I think she still knits pretty regularly. Before World War II, Manchuria was briefly independent from China and was controlled by Japan, so it makes sense that a young Dr. Takano would find it there. Okay. Yes. According to my grandfather's journal, around 1940, he learned that many soldiers sent from Hinamizawa to the Kwantung army expressed, not impressed, which led him to surmise that an unknown infectious parasite dwelled in Hinamizawa. Under the harsh conditions of war, people sometimes lost their mind. In those conditions, those who were sent to a far-off battlefield from Hinamizawa spent their days under duress, and occasionally they exhibited terminal symptoms, hallucinated, and caused twisted incidents. Yet that all occurred in the extensive chaos of the battlefield. Every incident was handled separately, and no one suspected there was an underlying cause.
当時高野君は軍医少佐として海外に派兵されていて、現地の貿易研究所で各種伝染病の予防対策について研究していた。
I like how you phrase that as, yeah, I also have a friend. I have a friend. I don't know if you can believe that, but I do. At the time, Takano-kun was working as a military physician in the Kwantung Army. He was researching the prevention of different infectious diseases.
そんな中で偶然、いくつかの錯乱事件がすべて同じ出身地の兵士によって起こされていることを知った。
And one day, he noticed that several incidents of deranged behavior were occurring among soldiers from the same hometown.
高野君はひなみ沢出身者に特有の症状ではないかと仮定し、個人的にこの研究を始めたのだ。
He hypothesized that these symptoms were unique to those from Hinamizawa and began his own personal research.
そしてひなみ沢出身の兵士を研究所勤務にして集め、いろいろと調査した。
He hired soldiers from Hinamizawa as workers in his research center and studied them there.
そしてひなみ沢独特のお社様信仰の存在を知り、特異な性質を持つ未知の疾病の存在を確信したのだ。
Then he learned of the unique Hinamizawa faith in Oyashiro-sama, and he was convinced that he found an infectious parasite with unique properties. Some may wonder how he could be so certain that these symptoms were caused by unusual parasites. At the beginning of the 20th century, German doctors proved that some unknown diseases were caused by bacteria and parasites. At the time, it wasn't too far of a jump to assume that unknown pathogens could be behind unknown diseases. For instance, in modern times, it's been revealed that beriberi, I don't know what that is caused by vitamin B1 deficiency. What is that? I'm sorry, I'm looking up so many things this time around, but I don't know what that is. A serious disease caused by a severe deficiency of thiamine, vitamin B1, essential for metabolism and nerve function. Symptoms include extreme fatigue, muscle weakness, heart issues, or nerve damage. Heart issues is wet beriberi, and nerve damage is dry beriberi. Interesting. It is treated with oral or injected thiamine supplements, often leading to rapid recovery. I did not know this existed. Thank you, Trace. But at the start of the 20th century, many loudly proclaimed that it was the work of an unidentified pathogen.
祖父はその研究が軍にとって価値のあるものになるのではないかと予想し、予算を求めましたが、一生に付されたとか。
Yes, my grandfather predicted that his research would be valuable to the army, so he asked for a budget, but they just laughed at him. As a researcher, her grandfather was very talented and passionate, but when it came to gaining the aid of political powers, he simply struck out. Hinamizawa syndrome. No, the possible existence of a parasite that infected the human brain and controlled emotions. even though he made the remarkable achievement of discovering a mystery no one had explained before him. He was unable to convince others of that achievement and spent his life alone, unable to garner support and unable to achieve proper recognition for his achievement. Independent research has its limits. Talented people, funding, and backup. A research project can be successful only if all those things are present. Takano had noticed her grandfather's mistakes, and that was why she did everything she could to obtain all of that.
当時の上層部は即効性でしかも普遍性の高い治療薬を期待していた。
You know that the whole day laughed at him situation really set her off. It's why she went crazy. The military at the time was hoping for a low-cost, immediate-acting
高
weapon.
野君の研究は非常に興味深いものではあっても当時の軍には期待されなかったということだの。
While Takano-kun's research was extremely intriguing, it didn't meet the military's
です
expectations.
が先生は唯一祖父の研究に理解を示してくれたと聞いています。
But I heard you were the only one who understood my grandfather's research, weren't you?
祖父は先生のことを無二の親友と記していました。
In his journal, he calls you his best friend.
高野君とは同郷だった。
We came from the same hometown.
同じ蕎麦屋を知る人間と遠方の戦地で会えるというのは奇跡的なことだったの。
It was a miracle to run into someone from the same town on such a distant
彼
battlefield.
とは年は離れていたが私たちは固い友情で結ばれていたのだ。
Although we weren't close in age, we became very good friends.
だから高野君からはよく話をされたの。
So we talked a lot.
画期的な研究になるに違いない。本格的な研究のために予算をつけられるよう根回ししてほしいと何度も相談を受けた。
Many times he told me his research would be revolutionary and asked me to lay the groundwork to secure funding for full-scale research.
祖父の手記にも先生がいろいろと各方面に掛け合ってくださったことが記されています。
I read in his journal that you talked to many different people about his research. I kind of like that Takano has kept up with, also making her own journals, just like her quote-unquote grandfather. Because I feel like no one else really in Higurashi does that. We only usually find either Mio Takano's notebooks or, recently we have also found Hifumi's notebooks. And it's, I think those are the only two that we've seen write up whole notebooks. Maybe Akasaka and Oishi wrote some stuff in their notebooks back in, episode 5, when everyone died and they went to write their own little book. But other than that, we haven't heard of anyone using journals.
結局祖父の研究が認められることはありませんでしたが、先生だけが理解者でいてくれたことはきっと存命中大きな心の支えになっていたものと思います。
Unfortunately, its value was never recognized, but I'm sure your support meant a lot to him.
だが結局は何の力にもなれんかった。
But I was never able to really do anything for him.
だから高野君にしてやれなかった協力をみおちゃんにするんだ。
That's why I want to help you,
み
Mio-chan.
おちゃんに協力するのは高野君に対する私の罪滅ぼしでもある。
Helping you is like atoning for my mistakes. He said Tsumi Horoboshi,
ありがとうございます。
which is the name for one of the episodes. Thank you very
祖
much.
父は良い親友に恵まれたと思っています。
He was lucky to have you as his best
軍
friend.
上層部に先生のように理解を示してくれる方が少しでもいてくれたなら。
If only there were more understanding people like you in the military's upper, echelon? I don't know how to pronounce that.
祖父の人生はもっと違ったものになっていたかもしれないと思うととても悔しく思います。
It's very regrettable to think that my grandfather's life might have been different. The old man closed his eyes and paused for a moment. Shortly after that, he looked into the distance and spoke.
実はな、真実はそうではない。
Actually, that isn't true at all.
上層部は高野君の発見に少なからず関心を持っていたのだ。
The higher-ups were interested in Takano-kun's discovery. What?
それは初耳です。
I've never heard that before.
でもそれならなぜ祖父の研究を認めなかったのですか？
Then why didn't they support his research?
ある事情により 高野君にひなみ沢症候群を研
The
究
bells.
させたくない都合ができたのだ。
Why are they different this time? Did I select, oops, a different audio set? Yes, I did. My bad. Sorry. It's normal again. At the end of the day, this research would only be abused for biological warfare. Takano probably doesn't care about this. Maybe she just wants the recognition to honor her grandfather and doesn't care about the consequences. Right now, it does seem that way. Right now, it does definitely seem that way, that she just wants recognition for her grandfather's work. By the end of the last episode, she seemed kind of deranged. She seemed kind of crazy. Especially with the whole idea of making her grandfather and herself a god by killing all of those people. So I wonder at which point she kind of went a little cray-cray. Something must have happened to tip her over. As if this wasn't already crazy enough, but you know. Can't believe you've done this. Takano was right in the middle of the village. She must have gotten it herself. Maybe. But I would assume that she would have gotten a vaccine. Like, if she had access to a vaccine, she probably would have given it to herself in order to complete her mission. I don't think she would do something so rash as to not give herself the vaccine, which could cause her to not be able to finish what she wanted to finish. Something came up and they couldn't let him look into Hinamizawa syndrome.
その理由は私と一部の高級将校しか知らん。
Only a few of the top brass and myself knew the
私
reason.
を除き全員が他界した今、高野君の後を継ぐみおちゃんには話しておこうと思う。
Now that all but myself have passed, I think I should tell you, Mio-chan, since you're carrying on his work.
研究させたくない都合とは何ですか？
And what came up? What was it? Takano had believed until this day that her grandfather's research was ridiculed by everyone, which was the reason why it had never gained any recognition. Her grandfather had asked the military for funding so he could uncover the secret of Hinamizawa syndrome during the war. But just like the old man had said earlier, the military wanted an instant-acting weapon. That was why they weren't interested in his research. That's what she had believed. But as it turned out, the military had actually shown an interest after all. Before I go on, I need to explain about the Kwantung Army in Manchuria at the time. When the Kwantung Army was stationed in Manchuria, opinions were divided on whether to advance our forces, north or south. At the time, Japan had troops in Manchuria, but opinions were divided on advancing north to deter the Soviet Union, or advancing south to expand our territory and secure resources. With the Soviet Union and its predecessor, Russia, being a landlocked, frozen nation, they had long yearned for an ice-free port that wouldn't freeze over winter. They had made numerous attempts to expand the territory southward too. Those expansionist policies were said to be a cause of the Russo-Japanese War. Russo? Russo? I don't know. They were researching a vaccine to eradicate the syndrome. Maybe she already had a better cure on hand herself. Maybe. Dam conflict? Could be. Could be. But I think it might have something to do with, you know, being able to use Hinamizawa syndrome as a weapon. That's a real debate in military doctrine in Japan. Nanshinron and Hokushinron. I am not familiar with that at all. Russo-Japanese War? Also, welcome back, Skip! I hope you made it to your home safely. In the history books, it's said that Japan won the... I don't know... Russo-Japanese War, but it was actually a draw ending in peace signed at the Treaty of Portsmouth. Both sides had simply set aside their spears after mutually exhausting their forces. It wasn't like Russia capitulated and offered a complete surrender. As a result, the perception of the Russian threat continued to smolder. Later, the Russian Empire was overthrown by a revolution, but Japan was unable to shake the threat that was the new Soviet Union would advance south. According to the history books, Japan went south. They signed the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact and abandoned their northern advance. As a result, when the Great Patriotic War began, the Soviet Union was able to respond to pressure on their German front by pouring in their eastern forces. Though the Germans had managed to lay siege to Moscow, the Soviets launched a massive counteroffensive that reversed the tides of war. Man, we're having a whole history lesson right now. I mention it because it is kind of niche. Yeah, I've never heard of it before. I might have to look that up. Hello, Klaus. Hi. We're doing good today. Let me take a screenshot of what you said on Wadis, just so I can read up on it a bit more. Even with the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact, the Soviets couldn't tell if Japan would attack them at some point. Because of that threat, the Soviets had to leave some forces in the Far East, and they weren't able to devote enough troops to the German front. For starters, the Soviets had forged the Germany-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact too. Yet Germany broke the treaty and attacked the Soviet Union. To make matters worse, Japan and Germany had forged a military alliance. With all those factors in play, the Soviets naturally couldn't trust Japan to uphold their neutrality pact. Ironically, the Soviet Union was the one who broke the pact, but I won't go into that now. Awesome. Exactly. Hitler signed the tripartite pact because he expected Japan to keep the Soviets' other front in check. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But ultimately, Japan abandoned the north. With a superior German offensive, many supported the idea of waiting and watching it play out. They believed that even if we did advance north, it would be after Germany conquered Moscow. However, that plan was exposed to and the Soviets transferred their heavy tanks from their Far East border to the German front. That secured Germany's defeat at Moscow, and the Germans began seeing a string of defeats, starting with the Battle of Kursk. It was a turning point in history, huh? During the Cold War, the Soviet Union was recognized as a global power, but at least in 1940, the Kwantung Army didn't think it was a particular threat. Japan had earned a victory with the Russo-Japanese War, and they took the new Soviet Union government lightly, assuming it wouldn't be stable after overthrowing the Russian Empire. That underestimation was corrected after the Nomonhan, I don't know, incident of 1941. Won't go into that now. Does he mean that he'll later? Maybe. It did sound like he would go into it later. Maybe at a different point in time he'll go over how the Soviet Union broke the pact and how everything went to shit. Oh, okay. There's a lot of difficult words, so this is kind of a challenge to read. I'm doing my best. After several fierce short-term battles with the Soviet Union's advanced mechanized corps that led to great losses, the Kwantung Army realized they shouldn't fight the Soviets, and that inclined Japan toward the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact. At the very least, up until the Nomonhan incident, the Kwantung Army was strongly conscious of the Soviets and divided on advancing north or south. Thanks to that, there were also voices advising caution, suggesting we avoid all-out war with China in order to shore up our forces against the Soviets. Oh, that's a nice couch. It's very marshmallow-like. Higurashi really went, grab your history textbooks. It's been so long since I've, read about the second, oh my god, World War II and the Cold War and everything. It's been a good, 10 years since I had that subject in school, so it's a little bit, challenging. All this info being told when this couch in the background out of context. This looks insane. It's this poor couch. It's innocent. For God's bravest ESL for reading such big words. Thank you. Also, hello, Russo. Hi. Hope we're doing good today. We're having a little history lesson with Higurashi 07 here right now. But the Sino-Japanese War broke out after the Marco Polo Bridge incident. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know all of this. I don't know the details. Please explain, Rikishi. July 1937. The Japanese and Chinese armies were staring at each other across the Lugo Bridge in Beijing. It was the middle of the night on July 7th. The Chinese army fired on the Japanese army in training. The Chinese army fired on the Japanese army in training and they engaged in combat. This triggered the long Sino-Japanese War. Yes, according to the historical records, that incident triggered the Sino-Japanese War, but with opinions divided over advancing north or south, the army was equally divided over a full-scale confrontation with China. Phew. Marco Polo Bridge sounds goofy as hell. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, we're learning history. We're learning about World War II and stuff. Stuff that I wasn't taught in school because we only learned, or mostly learned, about the German side of things. Chinese and Japanese do have beef, but is this real? I think it is. I think I asked before in episode 2 if like Rikishi was actually saying stuff that actually happened. I think someone had confirmed that or something. So I'm assuming here that what Rikishi is writing here is actually real. Otherwise, I'm learning the wrong things right now. No, in fact, we even received orders from General Staff Headquarters to resolve the matter quietly before the incident grew much bigger. So those supporting the northern advance wanted to settle the Battle of Lugo Bridge quietly, insisting that conflict with China was pointless in light of their anti-Soviet strategy. However, those on the mainland supporting the southern advance used this incident as a cause to dispatch more troops to China. They enacted hard policies against China, and thus the Marco Polo Bridge incident became the trigger for Japan and China to enter all-out war. After that, and their bitter struggles in the No Monhan incident, Japan greatly revised their Soviet strategy. They signed the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact and secured the route for their southern advance. The Sino-Japanese War got worse and worse. Goodness gracious. Since I'm relatively new, I wanted to ask regarding pronouns. You can use she, her, and they, them. That's fine. I don't mind with whatever you want to shoot my way. Japan going into World War I and World War II was in essence, and as I understand it, very interested in flaunting its power as major nation on the world stage, and going to war with China after taking control of Korea and Manchuria was that next step. Okay. I do remember us going over some of the conflict Japan was involved in back in school, but I think it mostly covered like the end of the war between Japan and Russia, Soviet Union. So all of these details I do not know about. I was in a Japanese war museum, and coming from German and remembrance culture was whiplash. I can only imagine. If the Marco Polo Bridge incident hadn't happened, it's possible that history would have gone very differently. Maybe we would have ended up in a war with them anyway. However, if the South faction didn't get that chance, the military authorities would have kept restraining the Soviet Union, and the Soviets would have had to divide their forces between East and West. And maybe Germany could have invaded Moscow, and Japan could have gone to Siberia. And the map could have been very different today. Now we're dreaming up scenarios. Germany wouldn't necessarily have won the war if it had succeeded in taking Moscow. England was keeping its strength on the other side of Dover Strait after all, and the United States was poised to enter the conflict. Besides, Napoleon once occupied Moscow, but in the end he couldn't beat their winter and had to withdraw. Yeah, Russian winters are rough. She really is a bit of a military otaku. He is! The amount of detail he goes in is scary. I'm just sitting here trying to wrap my head around all of this, and he's just writing it all down. Oh my god, this is a lot to take in for someone who's not very well versed in history. I only know the very, very, very basic stuff. It is one of those ifs, huh? The Axis might have won the war. Yes, it's possible that the gunshot from the Marco Polo Bridge incident changed the tide of history. Both sides had different opinions of who fired the shots, right? According to the Japanese side, a Chinese soldier fired a shot at a Japanese soldier who got too close to the Chinese camp. However, the Chinese side claimed the shot was conspiracy invented by the Japanese military. But the shot was fired. Even though nobody knew who actually pulled the trigger, it sparked the Sino-Japanese War. Yes, that's what the history books say. But Koizumi-sensei, what does that have to do with my grandfather? What indeed? In the Marco Polo Bridge incident, a shot was fired at a unit that was training in the middle of the night. Everyone was summoned for a roll call. They were missing one soldier. The soldier came back later, and it was said that he was sent as a messenger and got too close to the Chinese camp. By the way, did you know that soldier was from Hinamizawa? Really? And Takano-kun was talking about Hinamizawa syndrome. He said that soldiers from Hinamizawa could suddenly fall into a deranged state. Oh no, oh no, no, no. And we realized that the soldier from the Marco Polo Bridge incident was in fact from Hinamizawa. And what about the first shot fired? I don't know the truth, but I think it's possible that a soldier with the terminal stage of Hinamizawa syndrome fired the shot. That soldier was killed in the incident. Since there was no record of it, nobody knows exactly how he died. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, now we're treading into fiction. Speaking as a historian, generally speaking, most what-if scenarios for how Germany could have won don't really work, just not sustainable. Yeah, we looked at a few examples in school, I remember, but all of them were kind of debunked anyway. I can't believe Hanyu caused World War II. No! No, not my favorite goats. Since there was no record of it, nobody knows how exactly he died. The Japanese side claimed that the Chinese army had fired at them and negotiated with that in mind. Just a scant few days after the incident, Japan demanded an apology from the Chinese as a show of force dispatched 3 divisions of reinforcements. The Chinese side was, of course, opposed to that. The situation escalated at once. Well, yeah, that'll do it. If research into Hinamizawa syndrome continued, the higher-ups thought it would negatively influence the Japanese army's claims. So, in order to avoid the risk of traversing the political gray zone, they rejected Takano-kun's research. Okay. So we're obscuring history by not funding his research, is what he's saying.
そのため、この時代になってもなお、祖父の研究が顧みられることがなかったと。
So, because of that, they refused to even consider my grandfather's research long after the war ended too?
そうだ。
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm kind of curious as to why that whole thing here wasn't voiced. It's kind of interesting how this entire episode so far has had pretty big sections not being voiced at all. Yes, that's exactly it. The war is over now, but there's still some conflicts there regarding historical recognition.
高野君にその気はなくとも、hinamizawa症候群の研究が公になれば、社会的な影響が強すぎて、一般大衆に不要の混乱と疑念を与えることにもなりかねない。
They wanted me to drink more tea. Even if Takano-kun didn't mean for it to happen, if his research into Hinamizawa syndrome became public, it might cause a resurgence of quarrels over the long-ended war.
そう危惧した重鎮たちが、今日に至るまで高野君の研究を黙殺するよう根回しをしておったのは、今だから言える話だ。
We're afraid of that, so they made sure his research was ignored even after the war.
私も高野君に協力しないよう長く釘を刺されておった。
I was long warned not to aid him in any way myself. Takano tried to remain calm, but she couldn't stop herself from grimacing. She had just found out the real reason why her grandfather's research had been ignored, it was because of secret maneuvers by political masterminds. If those masterminds feared it so much, ironically, that meant they acknowledged the importance of his research. Takano was saddened and frustrated to no end by her grandfather's lonely
だが
life.
そういう連中は高いし、
However, they're all dead now.
もう当時を知る者は私しかおらん。
I'm the only one who knows about this.
もし今まだ高野くんが生きていたなら、私はそれを誤って全面的な協力を申し出るつもりだった。
If Takano-kun was still alive, I was going to apologize to him and give him my unconditional support.
だが彼はもういない。
But he's no longer around.
だから私はみおちゃんに謝り、高野くんにするはずだった協力を君にしようと思っているのだ。
That's why I'm apologizing to you and offering to give you my full support instead.
よろしいのですか？
Are you sure?
私がひなみ沢症候群の研究をすることで蒸し返しになるということはありませんか？
Wouldn't research into the Hinamizawa syndrome dredge up those same subjects again?
もう当時とは時代が違う。
It's different now.
それに
How?
ひなみ沢症候群の研究には単なる風土病では済まされないものが潜んでおる。
Elaborate, please. How is it different now? Besides, the research into the Hinamizawa syndrome may produce more than a mere local
研
disease.
究によっては医学の名前がつくあらゆる学会がひっくり返るような大発見になるかもしれん。
Depending on your research, post-war Japan may gain a trump card that makes it a world power once more.
当時とはもう風向きが変わったということですわね。
So the tides and times have changed then. Or people are just kind of crazy.
そうだ。不幸にも高野くんは風向きが変わるまで存命することができなかった。
People forgot, information wasn't shared. Yeah. That's right. Unfortunately, Takano-kun didn't live long enough to see that tide
だが
change.
幸いみおちゃんという後継者に研究を託せた。
But he has you to continue his research.
だから私はこの命ある限りみおちゃんの研究を最大限応援する。
So, as long as I'm alive, I'll give you my full support.
私は高野くんに協力を約束したのに、さまざまなしがらみから力になれず彼を失望させた。
I promised to help Takano-kun, but because of various things, I couldn't do
その
anything.
償いを命ある限りしていこうと思っている。
So, I want to make up for that as long as I'm
そ
alive.
れが高野くんが無二の親友と呼んでくれた私のこの世に残された最後の仕事だと思っとる。
I think that's the least I can do for the man who called me his best friend. Well, the question remains, did he also consider him his best friend? I wonder if Takano would have wanted his research ending up affecting Japan in this way. Like, was it in his goal to have Japan abuse the research to create mass bioweapons that kill people? I know he was pretty screwy, but surely... I mean, that's basically what he just said, no? He basically just said it may be a trump card that they could use to raise to have, like, massive power. So I think she's not dumb, you know? She can understand what he's trying to say. They're hoping that this could be used as some sort of weapon to gain them power. And then Takano's grandfather, I think this was the organization's goal from the very beginning to, you know, raise Japan to have more power. And the grandfather was already part of that organization, so I'm assuming that he had the same goals in mind. Although he might be more similar to what's his name? Coach? What's his name? The doctor, Irie. Who was more focused on the research and kind of just ended up going with the flow of things without really... I don't think Irie necessarily wanted to create a biological weapon, but if it resulted in that, I don't think it would have stopped his research. I think he was more accepting of fucked up things so that he can continue his research. And the same might go for Takano's grandfather, but seeing how he had a really weird conversation with her at the beginning of this episode, I'm guessing that he at least shared some of the beliefs. Maybe not all of them, but I would say the majority. Irie, yes. Poor guy. Already forgetting his name too.
先生、本当にありがとうございます。
Koizumi sensei, thank you so
い
much.
やいい。
Oh, don't mention it.
私も死ぬ前に洗いざらいを話せてすっきりした。
I'm glad I was able to tell you everything before I died.
とにかく私の目が黒いうちはミオちゃんの研究に一切の不自由はさせん。
Anyway, until I'm gone, I'll make sure you get everything you need, okay?
何かあったらいつでも頼りなさい。
So, if anything comes up, be sure to let me know.
助力は惜しまないからの。
I'll do anything for you. Takano couldn't even imagine what kind of bond this old man and her grandfather had between them. They were roommates. But thanks to that bond, Takano was able to gain a powerful supporter. Tears welled up in Takano's eyes as she gave him an emotional look, but in her mind, she was practically dancing at the promise of the old man's full support. The old man and Takano both bowed at the same time to show each other their appreciation. Once that was done, the old man became a little more serious. After that far too lengthy preamble, he finally said what he really wanted to tell her.
そういうことだ。
I'm scared. How much worse can it get? They were roommates was so sudden it made me laugh. I'm glad. So there you have it.
私が言いたいのはつまり
This is what I wanted to say.
ひなみ沢症候群には歴史すらも作りかねない魔力が宿っているということだ。
The Hinamizawa syndrome has the potential power to make
それ
history.
は日本社会すらもねじ曲げかねない。
It may even twist the fate of our country.
そこのところをよく肝に銘じて慎重に研究をしなさい。
So keep that in mind and be careful with your research. Hell yeah, we're back to funky music. I'm imagining this couch is speaking this entire time. And that's a talkative couch for sure. I'm surprised that we didn't get Takano's sprite because she has one. After the proprietor finished serving the food, she bowed and left. The room was very tastefully put together, reminding them of a tea ceremony room. While it was sparsely decorated, quite a bit of money had obviously gone into it. This was a very famous Japanese restaurant, where many high-ups and officials and other important people held secret meetings. Takano was there, accompanied by about 5 gentlemen. She was sitting slightly further away from the men. They were clearly in a much more important position than she was. One of the men, wearing an expensive double-breasted suit, told Takano not to be so nervous.
どうぞお楽に、高野さん。
Please relax, Takano-san.
今回の件、非常に興味深く読ませていただきました。
What we read is very interesting to us.
このような研究が数十年にわたり眠り続けてきたとは。
Can't believe this research was just sitting there for dozens of years.
ああ、驚きです。
Here comes a new challenger, a coffee table, Chan. And, walls and doors. Incredible. It is surprising.
旧日本軍が戦時中に行っていた BC 兵器の研究はほとんどが実らず。
I thought most of the research on BC weapons the Japanese military conducted during the war failed to bear
研
fruit.
究基礎もすべて米軍に接収され、何も残っていないと思っておりましたよ。
And nothing was left after the US military confiscated even the fundamental research. What does BC stand here for exactly? Does the B stand for biological? What does that stand for in this context? Hell yeah, flip that table.
この研究は軍上層部にもほとんど相手にされなかったと聞いております。
Why are they so quiet now? What happened? Voice volume. I can't do more than that. Please speak up. I heard this research was barely even glanced at by the top
な
brass.
るほど。
I see.
故に 誰にも知られず、そして GHQ の追及も受けなかったというわけですね。
Well, that's why nobody knew about it, and GHQ didn't
そ
investigate
の意
it.
味においてだけは本当に幸運でした。
In that sense, at least, it was truly fortunate.
高野先生の研究を高野さんが引き継ぐとは面白い。
Interesting that Dr. Takano's research would be succeeded by a different
これ
Takano-san.
も因縁ですかな。
I suppose that's fate.
まるであなたの体を借りて個人が研究を完成させようとしているかのようです。
It's like the deceased is using your body to complete his life's work. Well, that's kind of what indoctrination is like, isn't it?
本当にそうかもしれませんわね。
Maybe that's true.
私も奇妙な因縁を感じます。
I feel a mysterious connection to him too. Takano adored Takano Hifumi and called him grandfather, but she hadn't revealed that relationship to others. She realized it wouldn't be beneficial for people to think she was involving personal feelings in her continuing Dr. Takano's research. So publicly, she once had exchanges with Takano Hifumi, and after his death, discovered his research documents with his remains, and chose to carry it on. At least that's how the story went.
それで先生方、
That's such a sinister thing to say. It is. It's kind of weird. But we're used to it by now. Well
いかが
then,
でしょうか。
what do you think?
いくつかの省庁がね、非常に強い関心を持ったよ。
The defense agency was very interested. Of course
中
they
川
are.
君が言うには、防衛庁の技術研究本部が強い関心を示してくれてね。
According to Nakagawa-kun, the Defense Agency's Technical Research and Development Institute showed great interest.
研究のスポンサーを名乗り出てくれた。
They offered to sponsor the research too.
おお、それは朗報じゃないですか。
Oh, that's wonderful.
おめでとう、高野さん。
Congratulations, Takano-san.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
なんでも向こうが言うにはね。
Here's what they said. There's a research council for next generation deterrence being led by experts from several different
こ
ministries.
の中でアルファベットプロジェクトというのがあるらしい。
One of those is called the Alphabet
高野
Project.
さんはご存知ですかな？
Have you heard of it, Takano-san? There was no way she would know about something like that. But it was very possible for these nationalists to research something dangerous without citizens knowing about it. Society forms something like a web made of connections between people. People hold hands with other people who share the same ideas and end up knitting a net. Of course, some nets are well known, but there are some secret ones too. So there was no way of guessing just how the men at this meeting were connected. A society involving research into deterrent weapons for the next generation, the Alphabet Project. With those words, it was possible to imagine what that might entail. Nothing good. Deterrent weapons, that usually refers to nuclear technology. Weapons are normally used to destroy enemies. However, the general idea of deterrent weapons is very different. The assumption is that they won't actually be used against anyone. Nuclear weapons are largely used as a threat to prevent enemy invasion. Both the US and Soviets possess a large stockpile of nuclear arms, keeping each other in check. But they will never actually use them. I don't know about that. Because if they did, there would be a nuclear war and both countries would be destroyed. So they're like a legendary weapon you never draw. Of course, that last resort only works because both sides have nuclear weapons. If one side lacks them, then they lose all military negotiation power. In other words, nations without nukes are powerless before nuclear-armed states. That can't be true. Japan abandoned nukes and it still functions as a nation today. Or some people may be thinking, but they're wrong. Japan abandoned nukes, but lies under the nuclear umbrella by allying itself with America. That means the nation functions thanks to America's nukes. However, that also means we must resign ourselves to forever being a vassal of America. In order for Japan to escape that and become a powerful nation equal to America, it must possess its own deterrence arms and step out of that nuclear umbrella. That society must have been put together by experts who believe in that ideal. Very scary. Given that, even the name Alphabet Project makes sense. Nuclear weapons are weapons of mass destruction. However, weapons of mass destruction aren't always nuclear. They also include biological weapons and chemical weapons. Atomic, biological, chemical. The initials of these three words make up ABC. That's why weapons of mass destruction are sometimes called ABC weapons. I won't go into weapons of mass destruction that don't belong to those three categories. ABC, alphabet. In other words, Alphabet Project must be a code for research into weapons of mass destruction. As it happened, this guess of Takano's was correct.
本来は日本が核武装をするのが正しいのです。
By rights, Japan should possess nuclear arms.
戦後、平和国家として確立し、多大な国際貢献を果たした我が国は常任理事国入りを果たし、
We established ourselves as a peace-loving nation after the war, and after our vast international contributions, we've been recognized as a permanent member of the UN.
核武装をしてこそ初めて一人前の国家として認められる。
Yet, until we possess nuclear arms, we won't be recognized as a proper nation.
それこそが戦後日本100年の悲願なのです。
That is the long-held desire of post-war Japan.
さようです。だが現実には核不拡散条約により核は大国だけが独占。
Exactly. However, realistically, thanks to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the major nations hold a monopoly on
ま
nukes.
た国内世論は核アレルギーに染まり内外からの締め付けで実現を不可能にしております。
Worse, our domestic public opinion is growing allergic to nukes, so foreign and domestic pressures make implementing them impossible. So now they're looking at biological weapons and chemical weapons. Yahoo! These bozos are out of touch with reality. I mean, they're kind of crazy. Their views are interesting. Very crazy.
生物化学兵器は別名貧者の核兵器とも呼ばれる。
Biological and chemical weapons are sometimes known as the poor man's nuke.
核を持てない小国はすでに熱心に研究を進めているという話です。
Small countries that can't own nuclear weapons have already started research into that kind of weaponry. Why? You don't have to do that, man.
高野さん、誤解しないでくださいよ。
Takano-san, please don't misunderstand us, okay?
この度の研究は最近兵器の保有
No,
が目
no,
的
no,
では
no,
ありません。
of course not. The purpose of our research isn't to obtain a biological weapon. No, don't worry about it. We're just researching it for fun. A little chemical warfare as a treat, exactly. Poor man's nuke is certainly a normal and adjusted phrase. My god, these people are... It's not a nuke. It's somehow worse. Biological weapons, okay, it depends on what, of course, but like in this particular example, Hinamizawa syndrome is fucked up, okay? It is messed up. So, you know, a nuke that kills people instantly would be kind of more humane compared to having people go absolutely bonkers bananas, kill their loved ones, everyone that they know, maybe even themselves. And, you know, that sounds somehow way worse than just instantaneous death. I don't know who they're trying to fool, but,
同種の兵器が他国によって国内に持ち込まれる危険性について事前に十分な対処を行うための研究です。
yeah. Instead, our goal is to prevent such weapons from coming into Japan from other countries. Of course, yes. Poor man's nuke just reminds me of Hunter x Hunter. I don't think I've continued watching it since I stopped a couple of years ago. I didn't get very far into it, and I kind of just forgot about it. I have to get back into it. So many people love it, and I've been recommended to watch that so many times already. No more nukes, EMPs only. Destroy the internet, yes.
自衛のための研究であることを誤解しないようにお願いいたしますよ。
So this is research into self-defense. I want you to understand that. Wink, wink. I can't wink because my eye blinking is linked, but you get it.
存じております。
Yes, I'm aware of that. Takano hated this Japanese tendency to make excuses, but she didn't let it show on her face. She's smart, she understands. No matter what they said, they already saw the value in using this research toward biological weaponry. However, in truth, that was just an excuse as well. If they actually wanted to research biological weapons, then it would be much faster to research diseases like smallpox and anthrax instead of an unidentified disease like Hinamizawa syndrome. So it wasn't actually correct to say that the defense agency was interested in it as a biological weapon. In other words, Takano needed a powerful sponsor who could back her up with funding, personnel, and a facility to conduct her research. So she used her connections and turned to the old men behind the government and economy. Reaching out to each of them and getting them to forcefully pull funding out of the defense agency under the excuse of its application toward biological weaponry. That was the truth. Therefore, her project wasn't officially recognized by the defense agency. To be exact, the people who secretly controlled the defense agency were the ones who knew about it. These masterminds diverted funding from the defense agency to the Alphabet Project, and then they pushed for Takano's research to be a part of it. Money, 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 money. It's just for self-defense. We need this flesh-eating bacteria. We need this bacteria, this parasite that twists people's mind to kill their loved ones and then themselves. We love that. We love that. That's just awesome. Takano gets her funding and the influencers get to drain public funds through kickbacks. Considering that, it was doubtful this project was genuinely about researching the next generation of deterrent arms. It was probably just an excuse for the masterminds to funnel money into their own pockets, with no regard as to what effects that could have. Well, those complicated matters didn't matter to Takano. Whatever those old men and influencers were planning wasn't her business. As long as she could get the funding for her research, that was enough. No one is thinking about the bigger picture here. Everyone is just trying to accomplish their own goals. Either way, Takano had found her sponsor. It was one of the biggest organizations around too. This had always been her grandfather's dream. Takano was trying to stay calm, but she was about to jump up and down in excitement.
中川君としては今回の件十分に研究が進んだら丸ごと買い取って構わないと言ってくれてる。
Nakagawa-kun says that once research gets underway, he doesn't mind buying it
まだ
out.
まだ未完の研究だが、その将来性については十分に理解できてるようだ。
Although it's still incomplete, he definitely sees potential in it.
おっしゃる通りです。
You're absolutely right.
この研究はまだ道半ばで、十分な資金と施設、人材が欠かせません。
This research is only halfway complete. Sufficient funding, facilities, and personnel will be indispensable.
それでだね。
About that.
ここからが交渉になるんだが、向こうとしてはこの研究丸ごと抱えてしまいたいのが希望らしい。
Man, this track is so good. Pros. Here's where the negotiations start, but apparently they wish to take on this research in its entirety.
こう言っちゃ悪いんだが、君一人に任せるには荷が重いと考えてる。
I feel bad saying this, but I think the burden is too much for you to bear alone. Hearing that put quite the damper on Takano's ecstasy.
私はお金が欲しくて研究しているのではありません。
I'm not trying to make money off this.
一人の研究者としての知的探求心からです。
I'm working as a researcher purely out of intellectual curiosity.
私に必要なのはスポンサー。
What I need is a sponsor,
先方が求めるのは成果。
and what they seek are results. Didn't we learn that it wasn't that they wanted to like build a bigger team? It's not like the team that they ended up, building is super big or anything, but they wanted someone that they could manipulate a little bit easier. I think they were just kind of afraid of Takano. And I didn't realize there was an ad break starting, so I'm gonna shut up and go on a break. Oh my god, my back just cracked insanely loud. Okay, I will be right back in 3 minutes. And thank you for the hydrate. Hello. Hi, Zam. Hi. I hope you're doing good today. Let me adjust the volume again. I need to really fix that. I don't know how to change it so it's good for any game that I play. I don't know. I don't know how it would have gone if it was left to her own devices. It's kind of hard to tell since we only know batshit crazy Takano. We don't know pre-batshit crazy Takano, so it's kind of... I don't know. A little bit difficult to tell. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I need to sit differently.
そういう関係に期待したかったのですが。
I hope you enjoy your soup. I want soup too. That was the relationship I had hoped to establish. Takano realized he was talking rather breathlessly, so she tried to calm herself down. Either way, they'd be backing up the research. Considering they're hoping for results that merit the budget, they probably feel that Takano is still too young to handle it.
分かってます分かってます。
I know, I know.
高野さんが今日まで積み上げてきた研究を横からかっさらわれたんじゃ、それはあんまりですからね。
You've been working on this for a long time and you don't want anyone to just grab it from you, right?
そこは私もよく分かってます。
I totally understand that. I have a feeling that if she declined, they'd just kill her and take the research from her anyway.
もちろん向こうにもそれは伝えました。
Of course, we've already informed them.
それで出てきた折衷案がこれです。
So here's the compromise we came up with.
まずアルファベットプロジェクト内の新規事業として高野さんの研究を立ち上げます。
First, we'll start your research as an offshoot of the Alphabet project.
理事会の承認を経れば正式に予算をつけることができますからね。
Once you have the board of directors' approval, you'll be given official
高野
funding.
さんには客員という形でプロジェクトに参加していただき、研究に携わるという形になります。
We'll have you participate in the project as an associate researcher, and you'll take part in the research that way. If she wanted their funding, she'd have to fall under the authority, of course. So far, she had no
ただ
objections.
研究会は今回の研究に予算をつけるにあたり、いくつかの条件を挙げています。
Pumpkin udon soup. That sounds good. I haven't had anything pumpkin flavored in a while. However, the Research Society has listed a few conditions in exchange for funding this
一
project.
つは先ほど先生が申し上げたこの度の研究に関する分野で優秀な才能を持つ人物に研究筆頭を委ねることです。
First, as was just mentioned, is to entrust the position of lead researcher to an individual that's skilled and talented in this field of
お
research.
言葉を返すようですが、私以上にこの研究に詳しい人物が高野先生を除いて存在するとお思いですか？
I hate to interject, but who would be more knowledgeable about this than me? Other than the late Dr. Takano, of course.
まあ、そこは高野さん抑えて。
Now, please calm down, Takano-san. They're not taking her seriously at all.
お気持ちはごもっともです。
I understand how you feel.
それではその人物に私が研究を売り渡すのと何も変わらないではありませんか？
Still, how is this any different from selling my research to this individual?
全く話が違います。
This isn't what we discussed at all.
落ち着きなさい、高野さん。
Calm down, Takano-san. Those cunning old men didn't miss sight of the faint leak of anger that crossed Takano's expression. They gave evasive laughs as if remarking how immature she still was if she let her emotions show over such a little thing. However, they weren't laughing to look down on Takano. On the contrary, they were trying to tell her to wait until the end.
もちろん、そこはあなたのやりやすいように手を打ちます。
Of course, we'll make sure you get your way.
小泉先生からあなたをよろしく頼むと念を押されているんです。
Koizumi-sensei told me to take good care of you.
大恩ある小泉先生に託されたあなたを私がないがしろにするとお思いですか？
Do you think I would just ignore you after he told me that?
大丈夫です。
Don't worry.
ここは一つ私に任せてください。
Please let me work things out.
あなたも、そして連中も納得するうまい妥協点を用意します。
I'll make sure you'll be happy.
と申しますと
What do you mean?
その人物の人選は私が握っているということですよ。
You see, I get to select the person in charge. I don't like these guys at all. I mean, I already didn't like them before, but now I like them even less somehow. Everyone chortled except Takano. After a moment, she joined in. In other words, he meant that he would find just the right person. The defense agency had suggested finding an expert to lead the project because they didn't feel comfortable with just Takano. However, Takano's sponsor was the one tasked to find such a person. In that moment, Takano realized it. Ah, how wonderful it is to have such a powerful backer.
万事、私に任せてください。
Let me work it out.
あなたがやりやすい候補者をこちらで探します。
I'll find some candidates for you.
高野さんはその中から組みやすいと思う相手を選べばいいということです。
All you have to do is pick the one you think would be most suitable. Takano felt better after hearing that. While she wouldn't be the official head of the project, she would end up leading it from the shadows. Of course, she wasn't an expert per se. Having a partner would be actually be beneficial.
しばらく先方と私の方で調整します。
Give me some time to talk to the other
も
end.
ちろん、高野さんの満足のいく形で決着できるようにしますので、しばらく朗報を待ってください。
I'll make sure you'll be happy with the outcome. Please just be patient for a while.
お世話になりますがどうかよろしくお願いいたします
I understand. Thank you for everything.
そうだそうだ。防衛庁の話だけじゃないよ。
Oh, by the way, it's not just the defense
厚
agency.
生省の永田君も一枚噛んでくれるそうだよ。
Oh, that guy. Didn't we get to see him talk to the prime minister in the last episode of in the last chapter? He was the guy who was trying to convince the prime minister to kill everyone in Hinamizawa. I think that was the guy. I'm pretty sure that there was someone with that name, or at least someone from the Ministry of Health and Welfare. Nagara-kun from the Ministry of Health and Welfare is willing to help you
国
too.
立感染症予防研究所の伊藤君を紹介してくれてね。
He introduced me to Ito-kun from the National Institute of Infectious Diseases.
機材や技術についてのバックアップを名乗り出てくれてる。
He's willing to help you with equipment and other technology.
本当ですか ありがとうございます
Really? Thank you so much.
もうこれは立派な国家プロジェクトですな。
This is a national project, isn't it?
おめでとう高野さん。
Congratulations,
こ
Takano-san.
れも今日までのあなたと、そして高野先生の地道な研究が評価された結果です。
This is all because of your effort in the deceased Dr. Takano's hard work.
いえすべて高野先生の努力の成果です私などまだ何も
Oh no, this is all because of Dr. Takano. I haven't done anything yet.
謙虚なのは実にいいことです。
Being humble is a good virtue.
小泉先生もおっしゃっておられましたが、本当に高野さんはいい方ですな。
Just like Koizumi sensei told me, you truly are a nice person, aren't you? I kind of have a feeling, you know, right now we're dealing with a relatively normal Takano, a little bit deranged, but you know, still comparatively normal. I have a feeling that they're gonna screw her up, which is why she screws them over and, you know, ends up getting everyone in Hinamizawa killed. I think maybe by the way that they're treating her right now, she was just constantly underestimated and constantly belittled. And I'm guessing that they somehow betrayed her in the end. And that is what leads her to, you know, escalating the whole Hinamizawa syndrome thing and using it to kill everyone to make herself a god in her eyes. She kind of screwed up everyone by doing that. And then they all don't know what they're meddling with because the outbreak of the disease caused nationwide induced sickness. Yeah, I think they weren't aware how serious what they were researching actually was. And Yeah, well, we're gonna see what happens, but I'm guessing that she somehow ended up very upset at something, which is why she's gonna screw them over. Because every one of them basically got into trouble.
可愛がられているというのもうなずけます。
No wonder he adores you.
それでですね、向こうとしては高野さんの身分を防衛庁で預かってしまいたいようです。
Anyway, they want you to join the defense agency.
幸い、高野さんは医師免許をお持ちですからね。
Luckily, you have a doctor's license, right?
研究本部の医官として身分を保証するようです。
We'll secure your position as a medical officer of the TRDI.
それは公務員になれということですか？
Do you mean I'll be a public servant?
これは意外な話ですね。
I wasn't expecting that.
アルファベットプロジェクトに携わる研究機関のほとんどは公的機関です。
All the organizations that are involved with the Alphabet Project are public
今
institutions.
回の研究は陸自も強い関心を寄せており、職員を陸自から派遣したいと強く要望してきています。
The SDF is actually interested in this research as well, and they're making strong requests to dispatch some of their personnel too.
ですので、場合によっては身分は陸自の扱いになるかもしれません。
So, depending on the circumstances, you may be treated as an SDF member.
ああ、この辺は役人の縄張り争いだと思ってください。
Well, just think of those matters as officials squabbling over jurisdiction.
その役人たちの上に立つには役人の身分が必要になってくると、そういうわけですな。
So, to stand above those officials, you'll need your own official position.
まあ、もちろんどういう形になろうとも高野さんが不快に思うようなことにはしませんから安心してください。
No matter what, we'll make sure you'll be happy, so please don't worry about anything.
わかりました。そのあたりはお任せいたします。しかし、高野先生がかつて旧日本軍にこの研究の援助を求めた時には断られたことを思うと、自衛隊が興味を示されたのは意外というか、遅いというか、複雑な気持ちですね。
I understand. I'll let you work things out. But knowing Dr. Takano's research was once rejected by the Japanese military, it's hard to believe that the self-defense force is interested in it now.
それは仕方ありますまいな。
Well, that couldn't be stopped.
戦況が悪化していた日本軍が求めていたのは即効性があり、瞬時に戦局をひっくり返せるものだったのでしょう。
With the war situation worsening, the Japanese military sought something with immediate effect, something that could turn the war
決
around.
して高野先生の研究を見下していたわけではないはずです。
I don't think they were looking down on Dr. Takano's research. That wasn't true, of course. Takano already heard that confession from the old man. She exhaled. To her, it was like the meeting in front of her was happening somewhere far away. She had longed for this day to come and worked so hard to reach it. Finally, her grandfather and his research were attaining recognition. This was the day she had dreamed of. So she was frightened just imagining that it could be an actual dream. True joy can't be felt all at once. Oftentimes, it's a delayed reaction. Takano thought that must be exactly what she was feeling.
すると思います。
Incredible song. Things I want to convey. I think this is the first time we hear this one. Wait, is this not an original Higurashi song? Because whoops, wrong. Because I did change. Oh. I see. What did we have it set to before? I'm so confused. Because I remember this track playing a lot. Well, whatever. We're gonna listen to this one now.
多分、左官クラスの階級が与えられるのではないでしょうか。
I imagine you'll probably be given a field officer's
とな
rank.
ると、高野さんは副隊長の地位になりますから、おそらく3差ではないかと。
Since you'll be second in command, you'll likely be a major.
これは素晴らしい。
That's wonderful.
高野三佐ですか。
Major Takano, huh?
いやいや、羨ましいですな。
My, I'm a little jealous.
男に生まれたからには 一度くらいは自分のことを階級で呼ばれてみたいものですが。
As a man, I wish I had a rank like that.
いやはやいやはや、高野さんさですか。うんうん。
Boy, oh boy, Major Takano, huh?
三叉何ですか？
They're really hyping her up for no reason. Hello, Mika. Hi. We're doing good today. A major? What does that signify?
ああ、自衛隊の階級のことで三等陸佐のことです。
Well, it's reasonably high in the rank system of the self-defense
奇
forces.
妙でいうところの副部長くらいでしょうね。
It's like a sub-manager at a company, I guess.
おそらくその階級がプロジェクト発足時に高野さんに与えられることになるかと思います。
That'll be your rank once the project gets underway.
旧日本軍でいうところの少佐ですよ。
It's equivalent to a lieutenant commander in the old Japanese military.
そういえば奇遇ですな。
What a coincidence.
高野先生も旧軍では少佐の階級にあられたそうではありませんか。
Dr. Takano was also lieutenant commander in the old military. Takano remembered suddenly. They were right. Her grandfather had been a lieutenant commander in the Japanese military. Everything she had done until today was so she could continue her grandfather's research. Now everything had fallen into place. She had even been granted the same rank as her grandfather. She had always believed that succeeding his research would be proof that they had a bond tighter than blood. And now she would even be the same rank as him. This is fate, Takano thought. Maybe this is even a message from Grandpa. Yes, it must have been a shout of encouragement from heaven. It was proof that she inherited not only his research, but his will as well. Takano couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny for attaining the rank of major.
おじいちゃん、私ようやくここまで来たよ。
Grandpa, I'm finally here. Nobody else could hear her say that, but her grandfather in heaven could. That's what Takano believed. It had only come so far. There were still a lot of things to do for this research to be recognized as a great work. Otherwise, her grandfather won't become a god. She wouldn't become one either. He must become a god. That was in her grandfather's will. Well, that's high expectations to have for a child. It's kind of messed up. She sort of voted to him? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that due to her childhood trauma, she just kind of accepted what she was given with him because he was probably the first adult that treated her relatively normal. He has some screwed up thoughts. He has a pretty screwed up research. Everything about that guy is a little weird, but if it's the only person that doesn't treat you like absolute shit in your life, I guess you just kind of devote yourself entirely to that person. Yeah, she doesn't know any better. She has never had people, family that treated her well. Her dad used to hit her, and both her parents died. Then she was in the orphanage where she was treated poorly. She was abused throughout her entire life, and then she meets someone who doesn't abuse her, but indoctrinates her, which isn't that great. But at least she doesn't have to physically suffer. Maybe not even mentally. And I'm guessing that that's part of the reason why she's so devoted to him. I was unable to do so. That line preceded it. It was her grandfather's dying wish. Her grandfather entrusted it to her. All of his research. A god can be physically brought back to life. A god is made in the hearts of the people who remain alive. Her grandfather will live on in her heart. His exploits will be known to many, and all the scholars will fight to read his documents, to seal them from each other. And they will learn about Hifumi Takano, who began his research during the war. They will know that nobody understood him, that he ended up devoting his lonely life to his research. And finally, they will extol his grand achievement. I'm sure they will. But not in this timeline. Not this time. We will stop this, because it's messed up. The way that she plans to become a god, not good. Oh wow, that was it! I totally thought that was gonna be longer. Imagine if I hadn't yapped, it would have been super short. Well, I guess we don't need to stream for 7 hours. We got an achievement, Weight of History. Got one step closer, and it's basically... Oh god, I don't know if this is some sort of, like, nationalist Japanese flag, but it's basically the Japanese flag, but instead of just a red circle, it's like, it has, like, sun ray beams coming out of it. I don't know. That's what we got. She'll never be a JRPG protagonist that way. No! We didn't get a tip, didn't we? Did we? No, we didn't. Wow! Well, since I don't know if the next one is gonna be super long, I guess we'll just leave that for tomorrow. So I will look for someone to raid. And I'm gonna drink so much tea, you won't believe it. My throat will not struggle tomorrow. I'll be totally okay. Let me see who we can raid. You know who just started up their stream? Uni. We haven't raided Uni in so long. I can't believe it. She's actually doing a partner push, and I saw it last time, and I was like, damn, I could have totally sent you guys there to help her. And I forgot. So this time, we're gonna raid her and help her out. All according to plan. The Rising Sun flag. Is that actually it? Yeah, thank you for being here. Yes, I will drink a lot of tea, and I think it's just my throat that's kind of strained from talking a lot. I just hope that it gets better over time. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for being here today. I will be back tomorrow with more Higurashi, and then we'll hopefully make some more progress. But yes, I'll see you then. Take care, and good time zone. Bye-bye.